Talk.
1 2 1 2 1 2. Okay.
We're good?
I just can't hear anything on my end. Why do they fucking...
Good afternoon, everybody. Rob Bitus here live at Sonoma Raceway. This is the final stop of the Bagger Racing League 2021 calendar. We have championship implications. We have some of the best racers in the world. The crowd has grown. We've got a massive group of sponsors here. This is going to be truly one for the ages. We couldn't be any happier. Of course, as always, I'm joined in the booth by the 9-time motocross and supercross champion, Mr. Ryan Villapoto. RV, welcome to Sonoma.
Well, thanks for having me on, Rob. It's great to be back here at a Bagger Racing League event, and we have an awesome facility here, great views, and we're going to have some awesome racing today.
Great racing, the championships. You've been in this situation before, 9 times champion. You know what it's like when the points come down. In our Bagger GP class, the Custom Dynamics one, 3 points separate the top 3 riders. No pressure.
No pressure, that's right. And I was talking to Tyler O'Hare about this track. He says this is his home place, and it's a very technical racetrack. So with 3 points separating the top 3, it's pretty awesome to have it come down to the last round like this. And for the fans and for myself to watch this, it's going to be great and very interesting, action-packed.
You talk about the action during qualifying. We've had a couple guys go down, a couple of them get up. Safety is always something that we err on the side of here at the BRL. We had to make a decision. We knew there was a bunch of weather coming in Sunday, so we moved the event to Saturday. For you folks that are joining us on FITE, we'd like to welcome you all here, and we thank you for being part of the solution and not the problem. The weather today, though, beautiful. Started off a little bit chilly this morning. The track was green. We got out there. They started running the lines in. They got the braking mark, and the lap times from yesterday even came down 3 seconds.
Oh, it's race day, so they're all, adrenaline's going. Everybody here that's racing, they're all racers and they all want to win. So yeah, yesterday was warm up, feel it out, learn the track. Today is push a little bit harder, push our marks, try to get those lap times down and get a good starting grid spot.
Well, here at the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers presented by Custom Dynamics, we always like to start things off with a prayer. So today, with our invocation, I would like to welcome from Clockworks and the sponsor of the Shineworks Studio, Mr. Brian Clock.
Ladies and gentlemen, please. Thank you, Rob. Ladies and gentlemen, please remove cover and let's give thanks. Heavenly Father, we come to you today and we are mindful of this beautiful raceway you've given us, the time, the talents, and the treasures that these racers have put into these teams, and we just ask that you keep them safe today. We pray for everybody, our men and women in the service. Lord, you have given us a great country, a great place, and to call Bagger Racing League our home today is such a blessing. We pray this in your son's holy name. Amen.
The folks from the Bagger Racing League always like to make sure that the sponsors are recognized for how much they give back to the sport. And our first sponsor that we'd like to welcome is one of the biggest classes we have. The electronic company NAMS has been a real stronghold in this, and I'd like to introduce to you from NAMS, Mr. Jeff Zielinski.
How you doing, guys? Hey, Jeff, glad to have you here today. It's kind of crazy to say, you're a veteran now because we only did this once. This is the second one, but your team jumped right in, your company jumped right in. Tell me why. What's up?
Well, racing is really what it's all about. I mean, it's all about having fun, and when you work on motorcycles every day, as we try to do to develop the parts that we build, you could see those things out there doing all the speed and having a good time, and this class is just amazing. So.
Yeah, this class, the biggest class. Thank you so much for being a part of this. It's so amazing that we can give it back, throw it back, and I'm glad that you voted right away to be part of this process.
Absolutely. When you said veteran, I thought you meant because I'm 50 years old, but no,
I'm 55. You got me, boss. We're
it's
good.
the second one.
We're good. We're good.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Next up, we have a 47-year veteran in the motorcycle industry. They are our title sponsors. They've been with us since the first day on the job. He's a good friend of mine. I'd like to welcome Mr. Tom Motzko from Drag Specialties.
Tom, thank you for being here today. Drag, I don't even know what to say. Like, you guys are the biggest of the big, and you've been doing this for 47 years. We were just talking down in the paddock. How amazing is that just in and of itself?
Well, our company started drag racing. Of course, that's how it got its name, drag racing back in the late 60s. We kept going, and here we are now, second round for BRL. We're happy to be the title sponsor for it. It's just going to get better. And it's still a beautiful day.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've worked with these guys a long time. When Tom Motzko says it's just going to get better, you better pay attention. So if you're not on the BRL train and this is your first time,
right.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're just getting going. Everybody is. Yeah. And here you are.
I know, and it's amazing, and it's so fun to see all these teams. And, I mean, they're getting parts from you, but you got companies there that work with you, whether it's Saddleman Fueling, Alloy Art, and they're developing products that you're selling in your catalogs right here on the racetrack.
This is one of the first times we've actually seen some actual sales come through from racing, I'll call it. Yeah. And we're actually seeing things being developed
back the other way.
And pushed back the other way, absolutely. So It's really exciting. You can see it on the numbers.
Well, Tom, thank you. We'll see you down in the garage.
Thanks.
Next up, as we bring into the room, not only a racer himself, he's done superbike racing. He's been the worldwide international racer, flat track racer from Custom Dynamics. Will you please help me welcome James Rispoli?
James, thanks you for being here. And Custom Dynamics, I mean, stepped into the flat track thing big, got behind you. Now we're in the Bagger Racing League. I'm only wondering when you're going to transition from here out to there. So give me some insight.
Yeah, man, we're here. We're checking it out. Everything looks immense. It's super fun, and all my friends are racing it. I wish I was out there, but it's cool. I'm in the booth. It's something I really enjoy doing and something I really wanted to do. But Custom Dynamics coming on board for the big class, the GP class, where everyone's throwing all the money. All the big dogs, the big treats are out there, hanging it out there. So I'm excited to watch it and then see if there's a prospect and maybe something can happen for next year.
Absolutely, and we can't thank Custom Dynamics enough for jumping on, putting in the biggest class, the biggest deal, and the Bagger GP. I mean, that's it. It's boiling down to, like Rob said earlier, 3 points, and it's game on today.
Yeah, the championship's super tight, and looking at the Utah race, it was really good racing between those three guys. So I think it's going to be really fun. This is a super technical track, but we'll see. Hopefully, the guys give us a show and give everybody else a show too.
Well, thanks for being here. Thanks to Custom Dynamics, and we look forward to seeing you out here next time.
Next up, when you have style, function, and grace, that can only mean one thing. The folks from Icon. And welcome the Icon brand ambassador / trophy presentator / announcer, Amanda Sandoval from Icon.
Amanda, I feel like I should just hand you this mic because you do this all the time. But Icon, it doesn't matter what. You guys are weaving yourselves into the threads of motorcycles somehow. We appreciate you guys.
Hey, thanks, man. We're a bit scrappy, and I think
Scrappy, that's a nice word.
We're a bit scrappy, and I think the class that we support, the former hooligan class, the lightweight V-twin, kind of shows that. A lot of these guys out there are our friends. We've been supporting flat track, and so it's really cool to see these bikes out there on the field. It's also really cool that you guys trust me with a microphone as much as you do. I think you're gluttons for punishment.
We're not sure what happened to that other. We're not sure what happened to that other hand, so I thought, well, I better just hand it over, or I'm going to get this one, right?
Yeah. You should see the other guy.
Yeah, see. Well, Icon is always a part of it. We thank you guys so much. And if you guys have not seen the custom bikes even down by the garage, you got to get out and check it out.
Yeah, go check them out. Check out our California helmet. We're here. When in Rome, right?
All right. Thank you so much for being here.
One of the newest names and biggest names in motorsports right now sponsor a number of different organizations. We couldn't be happier to have them. And representing the Mission Foods, would you please help me welcome Mr. Gary Van Dam?
Gary, thank you guys so much for what you're doing. You came out of COVID like a shot out of a cannon. And while other people were maybe hiding and covering, you guys took on power sports, you took on drag racing, you took on flat track, and now here you are right smack dab in the middle of the Bagger Racing League. What's up?
Well, we saw an opportunity here, and we're having a ball. Can't thank you guys enough for inviting us out here and showing us the way, and we'll look forward to continued.
Let's give our viewers a little sneak peek, okay? So maybe they've seen Mission Foods, maybe they kind of understand it, but gasoline runs through you guys' veins. Your owner loves this stuff.
He is in all aspects of racing, from IndyCar to Formula One to vintage motorcycles. If it's two wheels, he's definitely in.
So, I mean, if you're not on the Mission Foods train, guys, get on the Mission Foods train. We are so thankful that you're voting on all of our athletes and all the people that are bringing it out here. So, to Mission Foods, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate all you do for our industry.
Thank you. Please stop by the tent and pick up some chips, please. Thanks.
How do you go wrong with that? Lunch. Come on.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's a look at our sponsors, but we're talking about racing. Let's bring in our pit reporter, and let's find out a little bit about something. Folks, will you please help me welcome Miss Kristen Banks. Now, Kristen, you've been patrolling the paddock, and you brought up some of the best of the best. The first individual is a true pioneer in the world of bagger racing. He's a local guy. He's part of the Factory Indian SNS program, Mr. Tyler O'Hara.
Hey, Tyler. How are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you today?
All right, so everyone knows you're the best of the best, but today you're going to be inside the booth. How hard is it for you to watch instead of out there?
I'm just going to school, just doing my homework and just keeping an eye on my competition. We're out here having a good time, representing the BRL and all of my sponsors and everybody that gets us here, and it's just having a good time.
Will we see you out here next year?
Absolutely. You can count on it.
Great. Well, can't wait to hear from you in the booth up here, see how you do compared to racing.
Thank you so much.
Folks, Mr. Tyler O'Hara is a true gentleman and ambassador to the sport. Speaking of gentlemen and ambassadors to the sport, I would like to welcome one of the biggest names in American road racing. Will you please help me welcome Mr. Ben Bostrom?
Come on in.
All right.
You're one of the biggest names, like Rob just said. You're well known around the race fans here. You're seemingly comfortable on two wheels. How comfortable do you feel out there on the fueling parts bagger?
The fueling bike is amazing. It really is. When we got it going, we have a little transmission issue right now, not the boys' fault, and false neutral switch. It's a good note to self. And I feel like the track likes the bike. Ben likes the track. I forgot about this track, how like it's changed a lot in the years, and it's been interesting on the track time we've had. Very slippery, very fun to ride the bagger around. I think it's the perfect bike for the track.
Well, good luck out there today, and will we see you on the podium later this afternoon?
Well, I always plan to be on the podium. Yeah. I can't guarantee to be up there or on the track, but we're gonna try. Heck yeah.
You better get up there. Now that you said it's a dumb question, you have to be up there.
The fellas are riding good.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Good luck. We'll see you later this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next individual I want to bring has multi-flat track championships to his name. He rides the Alloy Art Mullet. He's one of the bright spots in the paddock. Will you please help me welcome Mr. Jake Johnson?
All right, Jake, yesterday you said you felt like a fish out of water out here. How are you feeling today?
A little better. I got a little water to swim in today. Where I'm just trying to survive, honestly. I'm a flat track guy, so this is all new to me, and there's some serious competition out here. So had a big moment in qualifying, about high-sided that big old thing, so it kind of took some wind out of my sails a little bit there. But we're sitting third on the front row, and I think it's going to be okay. I haven't really had a chance to pace off anyone all weekend, so race time, I'm going to be pacing off of someone. So hopefully we can pick it up a little bit and battle with the boys.
Well, good luck. Hope you battle with the boys, and we'll see you later this afternoon.
All right,
thank you so much.
We've got an Ironman award, and this next individual that I'm going to bring up has certainly done that. She's racing in our brand new FS Cup, and she is the lone Indian entrant in the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP. Will you please say hello to Patricia Fernandez?
You just heard it. You have the only female out there you're representing as the only female. You're representing as the only Indian challenger in the Bagger GP. What is standing between you and that podium? Because yesterday you said you will be on there. Do you have any hurdles?
As the moment, I'm the pole sitter right now for FS Cup, which is pretty cool. First female ever in history to race a bagger, and now I'm the first female on pole. Definitely going to be the first female to get on that podium. I can promise you that. The baggers, I'm going to get that belt. I can't wait to wear it. In the bagger class, being the only girl, it's great. I'm definitely in the pro class, so all the riders I'm riding with, most of them, it's pretty crazy. I've Ben Boschem or some of the other guys were racing since before I did, and it's just so cool to be gridded next to them. And I give her everything I have. It's a little different. The baggers are a little bigger. It's a little harder to pass, but I just really love giving everyone someone to cheer for a girl. Like, all these guy racers have daughters, all these women that want to learn how to ride. I absolutely love showing and advocating what women can do, because really women are smarter than men, and I think we can figure out this racing thing. I would love to see so many women out here racing. The Bagger Racing League had to do a female class, and that's my hope one day we get more girls out here.
Hey, maybe next year we'll see a female class, right, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, all those ladies out there, I started out, I got my license. I took one of those safety classes and just got my license. I've been doing track days for about 11 years now. So if I can do it, any girl out there can do it. Get your license, get a motorcycle and ride, or get your license and come racing, because you're amazing. I think every girl should be out here.
Well, congratulations. We can't wait to watch you race today.
Thanks. I'll see you at the podium.
See you there. Can't wait to interview.
She's going for the inaugural cup in the FS Club. We'll see if she's down there. And our final interview has the points lead as we ended. Will you please help me welcome on the Saddleman Road Glide, Corey West.
Corey West, you're leading the points. Do you think you can go out there today and stay on top? What is it going to take?
It's just going to take a good, clean race. This track is so technical that just getting out there and not making mistakes is going to be really good. But that last qualifying session, the bike was working really good. We just missed pole by like a 10th. So I'm feeling really good. Bridgestone tires are feeling good. So just happy to be here representing Sly Fox Saddleman, and hopefully we can bring home the belt.
Who do you think your biggest competition is out there today?
So far, it seems like Shane Narbonne on the Trask bike, but I'm just going to try to get a whole shot and get away.
Well, good luck, and we hope to see you later this afternoon.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And finally, will you folks please stand as we get ready to thank these United States soldiers and military and all that have come before us. And today, singing our national anthem, will you please help me welcome Miss Deidre Walker.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, our first race of the day, it'll be the Metzler Pro Stock class. We'll be back on FITE TV with the BRL after these messages. Here, slide over a little bit. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Sonoma Raceway. I'm Rob Bitus, and in the booth, we have Ryan Villapoto, the 9-time motocross supercross champ and one of the pioneers of baggers, my friend Tyler O'Hara. Gentlemen, we're getting ready to go with our first race of the day, the Metzler Pro Stock class, and Benny Carlson is going for the trifecta. He sits on the pole in 3 different classes. He's at this one. We got Arnie Wells and Oleg Place. What kind of pressure is that under when you're on the pole in 3, Tyler?
Well, I think he's just got to take it one race at a time, and he's a class act. He's been around for a long time, and I think he's the man for the job for sure.
He's something. He's going to have that opportunity to head into La Pera turn number 1 with the opportunity for a hole shot. And, Ryan, you've been in this situation. Pulling the hole shot makes your day a whole lot easier.
It does. Clear track and clear air is always the way to go, starting off in this first race of the day. So hopefully we have some awesome racing here in front of us.
Well, we have a beautiful afternoon. A lot of people said this track gets a little bit greasy if it's cool. The temperature's warmed up. They say the track's coming around quite a bit. What are some of the real high things you should keep your eye on out there today?
Well, it's going to be a battle of attrition, right? It's going to be about getting a good start, hitting your marks, and just not overriding the track and just racing the track. This is one of the most technical tracks we have in the country, if not the world. So these guys have their hands full today.
I know on FITE TV, a lot of it's combat sports. Today, it's the Bagger Road Racing, which is a combat sport. Right now, this is the opening lap. This isn't a race, though. This is what they have, their sighting lap, if you will?
Yeah, this will be the sighting lap. You go out, put some heat in your tires, and just figure out where your grid position's at and get ready to, lock your visor in and go to work.
They've moved around some of these corners, and we wanted to make it incredibly safe. A lot of runoff there, and you were mentioning some of the turn 1. Turn 1 today is the La Pera turn 1. And that's pretty special. Christine LaPera and the crew do a great job of giving back for decades. They're a second generation. Their dad started it, and great to have them out there. We've got the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers presented by Custom Dynamics, and they're coming back into the grid spot. Now, the number 1 grid spot, Benny Carlson, Arnie Wells, he's on the number 2 grid spot. Oleg Pinek is in the number 3. Tony Tucker back on the second row, starts number 4. Logan Lackey, the wheelie pig, his father, a world champion, one of the pioneers of motocross, and now here's his son. Last race, he pulled the whole shot, led for a bit. Then we got Steve Chamberlain. I think he rode his race bike here. Chris Rivas, a drag racer by trade, is really getting excited about this. Doug Ramsey, 58, starts in spot number 8. Kelly Quinn, number 9. Nicholas Aruro, spot number 10. Mike Vittel, spot 11. Then we have David Augustine, Sean DeSheldy, and Cody Danley. We look down to the line right now, the PM bike on their line. Right now, Benny Carlson could pick up another belt and the number 1 plate for the BRL this year. Crowd's pretty excited. They've been out here for the last couple of days. You look down on the grid right now, and that's a pretty fantastic shot. Look at the colors there. I think the first time we raced baggers, everybody had a black bike.
Yeah, I'm going with Cole Trickle in the Days of Thunder, green and black. Logan Lackey for the whole shot here. Here we'll see.
He's going to have to do it from the second row. I know that Benny Carlson wants to kind of get this one in the book. It's a wheelie. Here we go, drag race. These bikes rocking back to the back row and immediately to the drone shot as they head into La Pera turn 1. And I believe it was Benny Carlson who grabbed the whole shot out there. We've already got a couple of battle shaping up. It is Benny Carlson out front. Looks like Logan Lackey back in the number 4 spot as we see that bright green machine. Easy for me to say. and they head back into the far section. It is the number 9 on the Sly Fox Road Glide, backed by Suburban Harley. Big Wisconsin family up there, and they're awful excited. I know that Joe Hupp from Suburban Harley made the big drive out here. He's been working feverishly on that bike, and Benny's entered in the first 3 classes of the day. Look down farther, and we see that PM bike. He starts to come under pressure a bit from Logan Lackey.
Oh.
And we got somebody off. Oh, and we have a bike down off into the grass. He got out. You can't get on the brakes when you're down.
He's down going into turn 5, the carousel. That's coming up over rise real fast, blind, and just looked like he got in there a little too hot.
Normally when you're trying to pick up your bike, that's a little bit easier job when one of these things are in the 500-pound range and we see him down on the ground. Obviously, I'm sure there'll be some notification come out to the entire pack, but it looked like Benny Carlson is already starting to break away from the field. And Benny on the Suburban Harley with Sly Fox, that's one of the youngest bike owners in this whole field, Alex Fox. And the Fox family certainly and he gets to look over the shoulder. So obviously the flags have come out and let him know that we're going to probably do a bit of maintenance. There's the hand signal. A lot of these guys go to a race school. That's what you learn, all the things to do when things aren't going right, what the flags mean, what's going on the track. So obviously these riders will come back and have to grid it up again.
Yeah, we got a red flag out, and everyone's got their hand up, just trying to be predictable and slowing down. We're going to do a full restart here and get regridded and see if we can get this guy picked up and back on track.
Let's hope he does be able to come back out on the track. And, you look down there, and they're going to bring him back in. This will give them an opportunity to talk to the crew a little bit. And once you have that practice start out of the way, now you kind of have a little bit of idea what the track will give you. We saw a lot of these riders wheelie off the start. Now they know that maybe they need to do a little more clutch, or what would the technique be to keep the front end down? Half throttle, a little bit less, a little bit more.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I was watching Logan Lackey there on that black and green one. Had a great jump off the line and missed a shift probably 100 feet past the finish line here, starting grid. So, it's just good clutch release, get those shifts right. And, I think if he would have had those shifts right, he would have been really close coming into turn 1, potentially the whole shot.
Now, these guys will go down there, and you'll see the crews come out on the track. And is there any chance to make an adjustment if you wanted to make something, Tyler, or is right now something where they're just getting back and you see the crews come out and look after them? So what would be going through these riders' minds right now?
I would say maybe check the air temperature in the tires to see if they came up a little bit, maybe drop them down and just let the bike cool down a little bit. Try not to overheat your clutch for the next restart.
You definitely don't want to have a hot clutch when it's getting ready to go. And these riders down the track, they'll talk to the safety personnel. They'll make sure the track is all clear. The race stands come out, and it's one of the crazy things. We see the drag strip, which is right next to it. They here at Sonoma host a lot of it. Tonight, the Brad Boyle drag race. Daryl Bassani, a longtime friend, sponsor, and supporter of the BRL, said, hey, my friend Brad Boyle wants to do drag racing at your place, so they'll have that ready to go once we're done today. For the folks that have never been out to one of our BRL events, we have bike shows, we have stunt shows, we got drag racing. Everything for the V-Twin community. We try to keep it a little bit special for everybody.
Oh, that's awesome. It just gives something for other people to watch different things. If you're into drag racing, if you're into, road racing, all of it. So it's just good to have something else and something else for other people to watch.
So they go out there, they check the rider down on the track. Folks, what we're going to do, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll get it all set up. We'll get them all re-racked. We see the safety folks right there on the scene. The grandstands here appears to be completely okay, walking off, his helmet's off. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have this all re-gridded. We'll get ready to send them in the La Pera Turn 1, and we'll get ready with the Metzler Pro Stock Bagger as Benny Carlson goes for the first win this afternoon. We'll be back in just a moment.
There are places that come to life when the sun goes down, and even the most traveled roads transform in the darkness. As riders, the Law Tigers get it. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Sexy touch is enough to make me and my Chevy blush so long. Take it off, the damn highway, turn me on. Now let's drive late. You can take it fast as you want. Girl, let's get it on. Start me up, stones on the radio. Girl, I love it when you let go. Don't waste your way, in the wrong way. Get out from the 4x4 play.
Well, the Safety Safaris rescued that machine. I think that was the 477 of Tony Tucker's bike. You could see guys down there once again are regridded. This time Logan Lackey on that green and black bike. And now they'll send him out on a sighting lap. Is that right, Tyler?
Looks like they're taking him around for a sighting lap to assess the track, see if there's any oil anywhere, get some heat in the tires, and give him a full restart here.
6-lap races, plenty of time on the bike, and we watch these bikes. That's the number 69. That's Arnie Wells right now, and you see Logan Lackey. That's a good-looking paint job. There's Steve Chamberlain. I'm telling you, this guy here, we've seen him in Daytona. We've seen him in Sturgis. He rides his bike everywhere, works on it himself, constantly doing some innovative work. He's a big, tall guy, about 6'4", and he just has a good time.
That's pretty awesome. I was able to walk through the pits today, and going from, this bagger racing hasn't been around for very long, and you get to see all the new parts, the new innovation, the new ideas that people are coming up with, because it's such a new industry, such a new, racing sport that, every time we turn around, there's somebody's creating something new or coming out with this, or testing is huge on these things. So very interesting to see, like I said, walking through the pit garages and seeing what's new and what they've come up with.
Tyler, what are some of the things that really need to be addressed? Is it the rake of the forks? Is it the brakes? Is it suspension? What do you feel are some of the things that the aftermarket industry is working feverishly on it. What do you think?
Yeah, it's definitely a race of development at this point. Ground clearance is the main issue right now. Just, you go so fast, you start dragging stuff that you got to pick the bike up and try to get a little more clearance. And then, obviously braking. The brakes have become a lot more important. The bikes are so heavy. And then just figuring out to get a balanced bike and what spring rates, and just everything's so new. We're still developing that. There's still big chunks of time that are still on the table, and just the bikes are getting so much better in the last 2 years. It's incredible.
Well, if you're just joining us at home on FITE, I'm Rob Bitus. Ryan Villapoto, the 9-time AMA Hall of Famer now. Woo! Just got inducted into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations on it. I know going into it, you were thinking, I'm not sure. Now that you're in it, it's a pretty prestigious deal.
Yeah, it was cool. They're very, excited and honored to be inducted into the AMA Hall of Fame. Was able to fly back to Ohio, check out the museum, go through the ceremony, and really, really, really cool that I was able to make it in there. I think, the education on the AMA Hall of Fame, I think, because it wasn't something that I was looking like, oh, man, I want to be in that. It was like later. Yourself, Robbie, was like, hey, man, you're up next. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. And then, he's like, okay, you made it in, So, I think we could educate our riders, along with myself, a little bit better as we come up through the ranks, and if you ever have a shot at that. So just so that we know a little bit more, it's very interesting. There's a lot of old motorcycles, and there's so many legendary racers in the Hall of Fame.
Well, they come back now. And explain it to the fans. We see an empty spot on the grid, and that's where Tony Tucker would have lined up. You don't get to move up into his spot, do you?
Well, if he was able to re-grid, he would be put at the back of the grid because he caused the red flag. But it looks like they didn't make it back on the grid, so we got an empty grid spot on row 2. So be a little clear track for the guy in the third row. Here we go.
Well, you hear the RPMs coming up, and they're going to be heading down into La Pera Turn 1. I don't know if Benny Carlson got the whole shot this time out of the gate. We look down from the drone footage. I love these footage. Ooh. And it is Arnie Wells, number 69. Now, he tried to take the lead on just that sighting lap. He's feeling good right now.
He's getting after it. Look at him coming out of turn 2, letting the tire rip, lighting it up, getting a little sideways, coming into 3A up over the hill. I can't say enough how technical it is to ride these bikes around this track here today.
Here comes Benny Carlson up the inside. He's going to try to outbrake him. He gets it tipped over. And the Sly Fox Suburban Harley goes back into the lead. Here they go, coming past the water features here at Sonoma.
This is fast right here. This is 100-mile-an-hour turn right here. This is fast coming over the carousel.
Benny race, this was the incident on the last lap, and it looks like everybody's through. And I already got the front little pack starting to break away a little bit. Oleg Planek, he's on the PM machine. He's back there. Logan Lackey, man, this guy races about everything he can. We've seen him do hill climbs at the X Games. You name it, he'll give it a try. But Oleg Planek on the number 50 PM Street Glide. Now, there's street glides and road glides. I'm sure you folks at home know the difference, but, man, it's great to see these different styles of Harleys and Indians out there on the track. And right now, Benny Carlson, early in this race in the Metzler motorcycle tires, pro stock bagger class, looks like he's trying to break away a little bit.
Looks like Logan's got a run on third. Oh, it makes a pass up the inside into 9.
Logan Lackey does make that pass. He said he's one of the only riders with a stock swing arm and the stereo still on his bike so he could listen to his favorite jams as he heads down the back straight.
Well, why wouldn't you? It really gets you fired up, there and make them passes, make them stick.
What would be on your playlist?
I don't know, Robbie. I've never had the opportunity to put something on my playlist while racing.
Well, we're going to have you out there on one of these things before we're all said and done with this. And, man, Logan has a good run, and it looks like Arnie Wells, 69, has a good run as well. But it's Benny Carlson on the Sly Fox Suburban Harley that is kind of waving sayonara to the crew here. This is going to be a 6-lap sprint, and you start to see some of the chain slap even out there. These guys are getting suspension. It used to be you lowered your suspension as low as you can to get that cool look. Now they're raising it. There is a fine line, though, before you start to get a little too tall.
Yeah, it's all about swing arm angle. Stock swing arm angle is about 7.5 degrees. It's real flat. It's made to go straight, cruise down the highway. We're pushing 12.5, 13 degrees of swing arm angle, which shortens the wheelbase and gives the bike a lot more front end bias and helps the thing turn. And and then you got to work on your chain adjustment and it's very crucial in getting these things to turn for sure.
Well, you get him to turn, and look at Logan Lackey right now. He's putting some hot laps in here trying to get back onto the freight train. And you could get a tow. If you get up close to a guy, you start to see his lines. It's a little different than motocross where braking bumps, acceleration bumps. Can you do the triple? These guys get in behind each other, and they can kind of come along for the tow. And Steve Chamberlain is doing work right now. They're one of the taller riders we've ever seen, and he's starting to put a move on Oleg Pinechek, number 50 on the PM Street Glide.
Well, what I can tell you, Robbie, is watching a few of these with track days and, previous races that, like Tyler said, this track is technical. Yeah, I'm watching these baggers go around here, and the motorcycles are very loose. You can see the rear start to pump, the tire get loose, it bites, it grabs. So just getting good drives out of the turn, it looks like. Get up the inside of some guys, brake while you're straight up and down so you can get your most power out of your braking, and then get these big, heavy baggers to lean over. It's impressive watching.
These things have so much torque, and I know that the folks at home aren't able to see us, but we have a couple battles out on the track. We got a 4-pack in the back, and look at Steve Chamberlain right now. I'm telling you, if you get a chance to come out to one of our events, you walk through his paddock, it's one of the funnest places to be. The guy's just having a good time. If Oleg looks in his rearview mirror, I think he's going to get scared. That's a big boy hunkering down on you right now.
They're pushing these things to the limit right now. It's they're moving, wiggling all over the place. They're having fun, and they're riding hard. I can tell you that right now.
Now, Tyler, is that the surface of the track being slippery or temperatures? Why is it? Explain why it's so loose right now.
Well, the track temperature isn't quite up. It's best it's all been all weekend, but there's a lot of oil dry out there, and then just these guys are riding them to the limit. Those shocks, we're couple laps into the race now, the shocks are starting to heat up and kind of blow through the stroke, and they're working these bikes and riding them to the limit.
Yeah.
You talk about the push that they're asserting into these things, and Arnie Wells, 69, is certainly keeping Benny Carlson honest, but Logan Lackey is hunting right now. He's stalking him. He looks like Bad Brad chasing down Roger DeCoster and Heikki Mikkola back in the day, showing him what's up. And here comes Steve Chamberlain trying to come back around Oleg Planek. And right now the PM machine is holding him off. But Steve Chamberlain, he wants to get up in that battle.
Now we have two different styles. It seems like the bags on one of them is a little bit taller than the other. So like watching them come around the turn, like Lackey was leaning it over, and there's only literally inches between bags and pipe.
Sometimes you drag the bags. It's part of the bagger racing league. That's when you know you find the limit.
You know, one of the funny things is so many people have looked at it and said, oh, it's going to be the bags that drag first. And unfortunately, it's not going to be that. It's going to be the primary. And it looks like we may have another rider down, and we do off the side of the track. That'll bring out another one of the flags. Hard to get a number on the bike.
What turn is that?
Looks like he might have twisted up that front end just a little bit. I did see the rider off the side of the track, so we know he's safe.
Turn 7.
The red flag comes back out in turn 7. He appears to be completely fine. He gets the gloves off. One of the most important things here, and you'll attest to this, the equipment that these riders wear truly does keep them safe in the event of a crash.
Absolutely. The gear's come so far in the last couple of years. You know, a lot of these guys are running airbag protective suits, so it's got a sensor, so when you're flying through the air, the airbag will actually deploy, and you basically land on an airbag. But he's got a full leather suit on, and, you know, he had a lot of runoff and looked like he slid, and he's okay, and that's the main thing, and he'll live to race another day.
Well, what they're going to do is they're going to have a chance to look at the bike. They're going to make sure it's assessed. Immediately here in the BRL, we get the safety crews on the scene. The red flags will be pulled back again. We see him walking off the track. Folks, what we want to do is we want to make sure these riders have a safe environment. So what we're going to do next is we're going to take another break, give these individuals a chance to get this bike up, hopefully get back in action. But if not, now will they restart with the maximum laps, or will they go back to a few?
We'll see. You know, I'm not sure if we're quite past halfway yet, if we're going to red flag it. Well, it looks like we're already regridding, so it looks like it's going to be a short sprint race. So, you know, for guys that are ways back, they got a whole new race here. We can, you know, have a sprint for 3 laps and see where you end up.
Well,
a whole new race.
They look down on the track. We're going to take that break, and when we come back, we'll know exactly where we're at with these riders. We'll be back with more from the BRL and Sonoma Raceway in just a moment.
There are places that come to life when the sun goes down, and even the most traveled roads transform in the darkness. As riders, the Law Tigers get it. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
So match your hands on the wheel, got a sexy touch. It's enough to make me and my Chevy blush. So long. Take it off. Forget highway, turn me on. Not let you drive late. Take it fast as you want. Girl, little girl, looks damn good on. Stop me up. Stones on the radio. Girl, I love it when you let go. Long way, short way, get a long way. Get out on the 4x4 play.
Well, we're back live here, and we've had our second Pro Stock Bagger incident, if you will, of the day. And they're starting to regrid everybody right now. And you see Benny Carlson down there going through his jumping jacks, limbering up, staying fresh. We talked about it earlier. He has 3 races in a row today. Safety crew immediately on the scene. Can we get a number on that bike? We get a front. We see it's pretty dusty covered. He obviously slid off the side, as his suspension up there. And that link, I think that might be the Arnie Wells machine, number 69. We're going to keep an eye on. We'll have to double check, but As we look down to the grid, no, I think he might be still down there. We got a beautiful seat here at Sonoma. We're up about 150 yards from the track, straight up. Your wife was up early. She said it was scared when she looked at how steep it was.
Yeah, it gets you a little, you get over looking over the edge, and it gives you that little wheezy feeling, So it's great view, beautiful backdrop, like I said before. Got the grapes over there growing in the nice crisp weather right now.
Grandstands are starting to fill up here. This is the Metzler Pro Stock class. They'll be launching into La Pera Turn 1. You tell the guys that are having fun down there. That's my buddy Carl Rao from Lucky Speed Shop, and you see the big smile on his face. Carl's one of those guys that just likes to have a good time. He knows that this is good for business. You sell suspension, performance motor parts, seats, handlebars, cables. It was years ago. They were running big tall bars, so you had to buy extended cables. Now they're running like a motocross setup where you have to buy cables that are shorter than before. This aftermarket man has to make adjustments on the fly all the time.
Yeah, not to mention his riders moved up the pack from the back row all the way to the second row. And he's on his way up to the front. Got a whole new restart here. Looks like Logan Lackey's looking focused. He's looking relaxed. I'm going to put my money on him for a whole shot here. Let's see.
And are we going green, white, checkered? Do we know that yet?
We're going to have to get the head from our race director. That's right. Alex Mock, who keeps an eye on thing. And he does a great job of running a tight ship down here. Everybody knows what time they're down on the line, what's coming up next. And right now they look down through the pack. My buddy 775 out there. Now, here's the best thing about some of these racers is they took a race school and they got ready for this type of action. There's the 117 machine of Mike Vitale from Mike's Garage. The guys that are down there are so passionate about this right now. They're building bikes. They're making changes on it. Logan's moved up from grid spot 5 to grid spot 3. So he's getting a little bit quicker and a little bit stronger each and every lap. He's your local favorite, huh?
Yeah, Logan is one of my favorites, and not to mention his dad was the first motocross world champion, Bad Brad. So, we grew up together, and he's one of the most talented guys I've ever seen ride a motorcycle, Logan, to be honest. And here we go. Green flag.
Nope. It looks like we had a bike that was left on the line. That's the 117 of Mike Vitale that wasn't able to get the drop. And it looks like he's going to push that bike
Logan
up.
puts a wheel on him up on the inside going into turn 2. Couldn't make it stick.
That's the hard part. You talk about these guys coming in hot. You gather them all up, but then you blow through the apex of the corner. You find yourself on the outside. You could lose a couple spots coming in too hot.
Yeah, but if you gain the position,
Yeah. Obviously, in your sport, if you were there, you just used the guy on the outside to bank off of. These guys tend to be a little bit nicer to each other.
A little bit different with Supercross and Motocross. But, as we're all watching here, the bags that hang off of these things, not a traditional road race bike. You really got to be aware of how wide you actually are, how long, and then what your runoff's going to be. If you come in a little bit hot, you're not going to be off your mark by, say 12 inches. You're going to be off by almost 3 feet sometimes if you're going in deep.
Benny Carlson on that Sly Fox Suburban Harley-Davidson ride, a full Wisconsin back team. And Logan Lackey moves into it. That's what I'm talking about. He came in hot and he left the door open. Can he get the slingshot engaged?
69 is really good through the mid corner. He's really leaning off the bike, getting that thing leaned over on the edge of the tire. And Logan's just really good at getting in there on the brakes and really getting it in there hot. We got a race.
Arnie Wells hands over the number 2 spot. Logan Lackey hits the afterburners on that thing and opened up a little bit of a gap. Now he rides with the Unknown Industry guys, kind of a stunt crew. He works at a local Harley dealership around here. And we've got an off the track, but gathers it back up and back on. That's going to let Oleg Pleinchek move back up a position, as that was Arnie Wells. Now, he got it gathered back up. It wasn't like it was he was in danger, but you get off there, he got on the brakes, he's got it straightened back up, re-entered the race, and we're fine.
He's got some work to do now. He was in a podium position. Now he's sitting back in 5th. Short time to go, so let's see if he can get it done.
You got to admit, we have one of the most energetic flagmen in all of racing right now. He likes to have a good time down there, letting you know when they're coming through. He lets you know when it's a green flag, and that's what we have. And it is the green and black, the Days of Thunder look out there. And he comes down, and he has Arnie Wells tucked in behind him. That's Logan Lackey into the number 2 spot. He picks up a position. Oleg Pinechek on the PM Street Glide is there, but it's out front. It's all Benny Carlson right now on the Sly Fox Suburban Harley-Davidson Road Glide. We've mentioned it on the show before. Alex Fox, the owner of Sly Fox's dad, one of the big IndyCar racers. Stan Fox back in the day just loves to be in the race, and I'm certainly hope that Fred Fox, the founder of Drag Specialties and the title sponsor of this event, he and Paul are sitting at home checking us out. I know there's so many of the Drag Specialties top brass that came here. Paul Langley came out. He brought Jeff Durkee, the vice president. They're out here. Tom Motzko, who was part of opening ceremonies. 47 years on the job. That's when you know you found a career, I'd say. Number 69, and he's going back to work, and I think he might have been able to put some work in and get back around Logan Lackey. Logan's going to have to do all that work again to come back and chase him down. So here are the riders through the S corners in the back. We're watched down. We'll see what flag comes out next. Keep an eye on the race action. This one's been in the books. We've had a couple restarts because of crashes. No one injured. No one banged up too bad. Lost a couple of the bikes, but it is one of the bigger classes out there, the Metzler Motorcycle Tires Pro Stock class. And there is the white flag as he heads back down into La Pera Turn 1. It's Benny Carlson, and Benny Carlson loves picking up these championship belts. Now, you probably wanted to get one of those over at Thing. Do you have a belt at all yet, one of those?
Just my belt buckle I'm wearing right now, but nothing like the BRL crown, that's for sure.
We came up with, I got to give it to RV here. When we started doing anything with FITE TV, he's like, let's give out these championship belts. We got them. We did a motocross race. Kevin Windham wanted one so bad. He's like, I just want to buy one. I just want to buy one. I want it at home on my thing. And, you know, when you got Kevin Windham pumped up, who probably has a couple hundred trophies in his house, you know you might be onto something with the belts.
It's very unique, and it's very fitting, and it'd be a prize to win for sure.
Well, you're right. He will get off the side of that bike, does Arnie Wells. He likes to tuck it in there. But Benny Carlson, this guy is silky smooth right now. He's the Zohan of bagger racing.
Hey, he's just on another level, you know. I think he's just being able to push that motorcycle further than anybody else. Maybe their setup's a little bit better right now. You know, it's just all about getting those track days in, and because it's such a new industry, new sport, new racing. You know, there's a lot to learn, and along with the riders, you know, like just getting comfortable on flicking one of these, you know, 500-600 pound motorcycles around and coming into the turns at 100 miles an hour, you know. So definitely takes some time to learn, and these guys, the Sly Fox crew, definitely have it figured out right now.
Sitting up tall in the saddle, getting it slowed down. I know they added a couple inches of front fork travel and to the rear to get this bike up. The next thing they're talking about is what they're going to do with the triple clamps, get it tucked in a little bit, and that'll obviously pick it up. We should have, and we'll go down to the checkered flag coming here, and the first checkered flag of the weekend. Can he do it 3 times in a row? But here it is. It's going to be Benny Carlson on the Sly Fox Road Glide, picking up the win in the Metzler Motorcycle Tires Pro Stock Bagger class. That's going to be something pretty unique. RV, it's a good time to go, huh?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, it's definitely, you know, what's that? You said that's his third race win, or?
It'll be, so he won the first 2 races of the first race.
Yep.
This will be his 3rd belt. He's going to go for 3 today, and he possibly could pick up 2 number 1 plates. Man, that's going to be something special. We're going to see him on the Big Twins class coming up a little bit later, and if he's able to do that, he didn't race Big Twins at the first one. He didn't score any points, but yeah, he wants to go home. He's going to be literally the Mike Tyson of Bagger Racing League if he has that many belts. So they have these laps wrapping down. These riders have come through, and there's Benny with a gentleman wave to the crowd out there. And we're going to head down to the podium and wrap it up here as they get ready to send through. Tyler, you got to go down to the podium and pass out some hardware, my friend.
Let's go.
Make sure you give him a high five. Thanks for hanging out in the booth. Tell all your friends. And, hey, as much as I like hanging out with you in here, I want to see you on the track, my friend.
I'll be on the track soon.
All right. Best of luck to you. Have a great holiday season. And our friend Tyler O'Hara is going to go down and pass out some hardware. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be down on the podium and talk to the fastest man here in race number 1, Benny Carlson. We'll be back after these messages.
Something at your hands on the wheel, got a sexy touch. It's enough to make me and my Chevy blush so long. Take it all, but then highway, turn me on. I'll let you drive, babe. Take it fast as you want. Dirty, look damn good on. Start me up, stones on the radio. Girl, I love the way you let go. Long way, short way, come on, way. Get off on 4x4 play.
If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Drag Performance is a leader in high-performance aftermarket parts for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. World-renowned for industry-first bolt-on turbo systems and cutting-edge motorcycle components, all made right here in the USA. Assault the street and the track with confidence. Performance-minded, performance-driven. Trask.
Having a wonderful time.
Well, we're back live here. We've had our first look at the hot track. We had the Pro Stock, Metzler Pro Stock bagger class, and they're getting ready to head down to the podium and get this one lined up. Benny Carlson, once again.
Once again.
He's raced 3 times.
He's the man to beat.
This is his 3rd belt. He's racing 3 times today. He literally could have it. Let's take a look back at some of the action here.
He's hungry. He's hungry.
You come in hot, Ryan Villapoto. You can leave the door wide open and look at Steve Chamberlain do work right there.
Yep, just push a little bit wide, and you come off your line. It's 12, 15, inches off, and you go up the inside just like that.
Boom.
Logan Lackey left the door open right there. Man, he did some work, though, to work himself up into, I believe, he's going to land on the podium. We'll keep an eye on it, but Benny Carlson was certainly the cream of the crop in that field. Ride the number 9 machine, the Sly Fox Suburban Harley Road Glide, and put in some good work. We're here at beautiful Sonoma Raceway. Certainly a.
I love this turn because then they're on the gas. Whop, whop.
They come out of that corner, man, and the torque of
these
big V twins are certainly laying it down. And Benny Carlson, again, we mentioned it, trying to pick up his 3rd belt. He has picked up his 3rd belt. He's trying to add to the collection now. I know Joe Hupp from Suburban Harley-Davidson loves having those. He was on the stage at the Buffalo Chip with Kid Rock and he had them all draped over his shoulder, and the place was going nuts
That
for
sounds
him.
like a party.
It was a good time. It was a good time. They know how to have a good time at the Buffalo Chip. They recognized the BRL this year as their official Grand Marshal, along with the governor, Christine Dope. Yeah, it was fantastic.
Good for you, buddy.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we starting to get some recognition. You can see in the background the big lineup of the Harley-Davidson, the folks that came out to support us this weekend, and it's our biggest crowd ever. I know that we're going to head down to the podium, and we'll have a chance to see the hardware, to see it. Let's go down to Kristen Banks and Logan Lackey.
Thanks, Rob. I'm down here with Logan Lackey. Logan, E. Tyler O'Hara over there said you were one of the most talented guys he's ever seen on a motorcycle. What do you have to say about that?
I mean, Tyler is definitely one of the most talented guys that I know. It's a very good comment to get from him.
Now, I was only supposed to ask you one question, but everyone wants to know, what were you listening to on your playlist with that stereo system?
I had a little bit of everything going out there today. There was some Motley Crue, a little Metallica, a couple of good songs.
Well, congratulations on that third finish. Any sponsors you want to thank real quick?
Yeah, Iron Steed, Harley-Davidson, RPM Performance, Speed Merchant, Fab 28, Krause. There's a bunch, too many to list. But Schultz Designs for painting that thing up, Saddleman for the new seat. Thank you, everybody.
Congratulations.
Well, they get back down there, and Kristen gets ready to reset. That's Kristen Banks, our podium announcer. Kristen, who you standing with now?
Now I'm standing with second place, Arnie Wells. How were you able to make that pass on Logan Lackey there then?
I don't know. There's two that got around me, and it was fun. Like, the battle was way fun. Like, I was upset about it at first, but that's what made it so fun. Like, just trying to get back around them, and it was tough.
Well, you made a great pass. Any sponsors you want to shout out for helping you?
Yeah, so Grand Teton Harley is the reason I'm here. I want to thank you guys. Heatwave Visual, there's a lot. So Wells Builders, Risk Racing, Union Graphic Co., Static Collective, Gold English Goods. I'm forgetting a bunch, especially the guys at Bleeding Cowboy Tattoo for holding down the shop.
Well, congratulations on second place.
Now you've only got one more left to do, folks. Let's go to the top step and say hello to Mr. Benny Carlson on the Sly Fox Suburban Harley-Davidson.
That guy was going to make me cry.
Okay, Benny Carlson is not here because he is out there getting ready to race another race. So we have Aaron Holt. Now, Aaron, Benny told me yesterday that he had to win, or he had to get on the podium at some point because his chances are, what, 3? He has 3 classes. How was he able to get out there and get it in the very first class?
You know, he's had a lot of time on a bunch of different bikes, and we couldn't have been here without Sly Fox Performance. And he's a hell of a racer and just put out some great laps. And he's about to go do it again, and hopefully we can end up here again.
All right, well, we're going to watch him again, and maybe we'll talk to him later today. Back to you guys.
Well, they've got some hardware to pass out down there, and we'll certainly get the belts passed out along with the trophies as these riders head out on their sighting lap. I think Tyler O'Hara may be handing out the hardware.
That's a good-looking crew out in the track. I know a lot of those guys.
Well, they head out there, and this will be the Icon Lightweight Twins, along with a brand-new class we're just bringing in, the FS Cup.
Yeah, didn't I see Alloy Art put together a bike for that?
Alloy Art did put together the first Pan American. I think that might be it right there. That is the very
It's a
first
good-looking bike. That stance is so mean.
Pan American. That's Tony Salima out there, and Tony's one of the pioneers in this right now. So he's been able to kind of break the mold once again. He was at the very first bagger race we've ever done. He raced the very first Big Twins class we ever did. He has an opportunity to bring home the cup as well in that class, and now he's the first one to ever ride a Pan American on the track, as long as the FTRs that Patricia Fernandez has.
Lots of firsts.
There is so many firsts. We try to keep doing it. So young in the field right now. Giving you the lineup, and this was a little bit shocking. Benny Carlson, who just won, was able to set on pole against some certainly more established style machines. Patricia Fernandez, rider 87, she's in the number 2 spot.
She's bringing the heat.
She said she wants women out there, so it's on you now.
She also said she's podium.
That's it. Tony Salima, Greg Stinnett, Chris Wiggins,
Hooligan Jesus,
Ron Schenke, Brandon Quaid out there. Now, here's the best part. He owns one of the biggest Harley-Davidson dealerships in Southern California.
Oh, dang.
To be able to give back as a sponsor is one thing. He has 5 riders, but he's also a racer. I love that
You
part
put
of it.
your money where your mouth is.
Salt Lake City's the 152. Brandon Coford, Carson Coford, so the Coford 152 and 160. Brian Shields all the way from Youngstown, Ohio, number 76. Michael Kelly, 454. Anthony Gonzalez, 555. How about Rep 101, Joe Sanderson?
Hey, Joe.
Day in and day out, this guy's pounding the pavement. He's racing for all the reps in the world. Joe Gale, 507. Ian Bannon, 760. And Zachary Perkins is out there. They come back after that hot lap, and they're going to re-grid here.
Oh, here we go. They're lining up. You know, it's good to have the band back together, I got to say.
You feel good about it?
I feel great. Ryan, it's good to see you.
That's
You're
right.
looking good.
Yeah, nice to see you.
Everybody's
looking good.
Now, she's been in the motorcycle industry for well over a decade, I believe, correct?
Just hanging in there, you know.
You guys at Icon and the Icon community, if you look at your bikes, you'll take a Sportster and make it look like something from the 60s. Then you'll take a Katana and make it look like something from the future. You have a special look at everything.
Yeah.
I think the whole crew down there, Kurt and everybody, they look at the world through a whole different set of glasses.
Yeah, our tagline is Retro Cues, Future Tech. Yeah.
You got to like all that.
Yeah.
These guys getting lined up, and look who's back on the pole. We've been talking about it. Joe Hop standing down there, Benny Carlson. Back on the bike. This time he's on the Suburban XR 1200, and he's number 45. Now, this is interesting. I really thought that the Pan Americans and the FTRs were going to be quicker, and they were quicker than everybody except Benny Carlson on the XR 1200.
Well, the guy's a machine. He's established that.
If he's able to come through there and wrap up these belt after belt after belt, that is going to be truly something amazing. You see everybody getting clear on the grid, and this is that warm-up lap. They're going to get a little bit of heat in these tires, and we know that it's super important to keep these machines really happy. It's a little bit of a cooler day out there. It's not exactly cold,
it's a bit chilly.
But the heat in the tires is a big part. Now, you've often said this. You'd like to try this at some time, Ryan Villapoto. Now,
I heard that. I was there.
Yep, he'd like to try it. He's somebody that likes to try things. He's done a little bit of everything from motocross, supercross, pit bike, flying airplanes. You're playing guitar now.
Oh, well, we'll see. I'm working on it.
Working
on it.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to get out here and, throw a leg over one eventually, and see, obviously I have an idea, and when Tyler's sitting up here talking to him and the way the bikes are reacting, the way the track, comes into play and all those things. But until you really actually get out there and do it, feel it for yourself, we can all speculate and talk and, it's never the same, right? You got to get out there, feel it out for yourself. So maybe one day.
How about Patricia? She wants to get some heat in the tires. And Benny's just seeing where the XR 1200 lines up against these new FTRs. Now, again, we want to give a big shout out to the folks from Auburn. They needed a radiator. The folks from Saddlemen, they walked over to their own personal bike and took it off.
How about that? That's some Days of Thunder stuff.
We've had that happen here before. The very first race, we had somebody in the paddock take a motor out of their street bike, give it to Lucas Gibo. He went from the last grid position all the way up to take a fifth. They pulled the motor, put it back, and the guy rode home.
Well, that just speaks for the community that's involved with these kind of races. It's a very welcoming, opening crowd. Everybody's there supporting each other. It's really fun to be part of.
We are the world's only Harley-Davidson versus Indy exclusively. Unfortunately, we know there's a lot of great motorcycles out there. We just feel that these two brands are so iconic. They're so evenly matched, but they've really never been invited to the road race community. Some of their Sportsters have and thing. And when Indian came back into the fold, I think they're probably working on about 9 years here. They had the Victory, then they came back out with the Indian, and man, it's just great to have a couple of American V-twin manufacturers doing a great job. We know that Indian puts out a fine product. The Challenger is certainly a formidable machine. And the FTR is great. And the Indian Chief, we would have loved to have that bike. They would be in the next class, which is going to be the NAMS Big Twin. And Jeff Zielinski and his crew have done a great job of getting a lot of the wiring done. There's so many sensors on these bikes.
Oh, gosh, yeah, I know.
That as you start taking them apart, they shut themselves off automatically. He addressed all that. Now we've got no problems.
Yeah, you gotta be like a computer engineer to figure this stuff out sometimes.
All of a sudden, it used to be, air-cooled push rod, carburetor. Now you walk out with your laptop and make your motorcycle better. Who would have ever thought that was going to be the way to do it? But it's all you need.
Plug it in, man.
It's like the Atari of road racing right now. What a beautiful facility here. The little bit of weather that we're expecting around 10 o'clock tonight is not going to slow down the Brad Boyle drag race. And last night,
that was so great. That was so great. Last night we were having such a fun time announcing that. People were just, it was a legit run what you brung scenario. Anybody just came down, grudge matches galore. It was something to see.
We had a lot more people sign up this morning, so it's going to be even
Heck
bigger.
yeah.
So the folks are home. Let's see if Tony Salima can grab that start. But Benny Carlson once again in grid spot number 1. Patricia Fernandez is on the number 2 spot. And Tony Salima, first time ever. The Pan American, this is the FS Cup. We hope it's going to grow. We feel next year they'll have their own. The attack position is ready.
There we go.
Green flag, and there
Ooh.
we go. Look at the jump by Benny Carlson.
Look at that shot. Feel like I'm in the race.
That's LaPera, turn number 1. Christine LaPera, big supporter of the BRL. Thank you very much.
She's a gem.
Oh,
Isn't she?
she's
Love her.
wonderful. But it's Benny Carlson once
There
again.
goes my buddy Chris Wiggins. Yeah, on the Buell. Have you seen that bike?
Tell me a bit about it. I know you checked out everything down there, and you're very astute. What'd you see?
Well, I saw a really cool bike, and it had the name Buell on it. My buddy was hanging out next to it. We did a lot of, less talking shop, more just talking. But it's great to see him out there. I know he's put a lot of work into that bike, and he is head to toe in Icon Motorsports right now. So check out his gear. He goes well with his bike, and the guy loves racing. Hooligan Jesus is his nickname.
Is that right? Well, Benny Carlson right now trying to do a little bit of a breakaway. He will be very excited to pick up his second belt, but we probably won't be on the podium again because he has to go right back to the line.
Is that Patricia?
That is
Boom!
Patricia.
Knocking on the door.
She's on the Indian FTR. This is a fantastic motorcycle that Indian brought out. Now, her motorcycle is bone stock other than a set of exhaust.
Oh, wow.
So they haven't, and that's the way that bike was designed. The engineers at Indian did a fantastic job of putting something on the street that you could use day in and day out and take it to the racetrack and be competitive.
Did they hack into the mainframe, change the map and all that stuff?
I got to think they did a little something. She
I
knows
would
her
think
way
so.
around that
Beep,
stuff.
bop, boop, boop.
There she goes
Race.
into the 2 spot, but it's Benny Carlson, number 45 out front. Back to back. Now, he's warmed up, Ryan. I know that he's got to be in pretty good shape, but you're on a different bike. It's not like you're even riding the same bike.
Yeah, actually, we were just looking at the lap times from previous race. He had a couple seconds on second place. Now he's only got about a second on his competitor here. So yeah, but back to back, he's definitely warm. I don't know if we'll see fatigue setting in at this pace right now, but this third race for Benny, we'll probably definitely see him. The fatigue starting to set in.
Well, they talk about it. We talked with Tyler O'Hara. You're flipping the bike back and forth, back and forth. It's a very fatiguing track with a lot of elevation changes, the up and downs. I know that the TV crew have done a great job. They had some drones in the air. They had some stationary shots, but they were talking about the undulation. The great thing about our TV crew, they do a lot of GNCCs, which is a 13-mile single path through the woods with 900 other bikes, and most of them are muddy. So for them, this is probably like a day at the country club.
Undulation. That's a wonderful word.
Thank you very much.
That's right.
A lot of people talk about altitude, but they're not in the air. It's elevation.
Yeah,
so,
there you
know,
go.
they
You're
don't
learning
mess that.
something here
That's
today at the
like
Baggers
Professor
Racing League.
Vitus. Benny Carlson out front. Now, he's in the Icon lightweight class. The FS Cup leader is Patricia Fernandez, and all she wanted was a championship belt.
That's it.
You could possibly be presenting the first women ever of the BRL, the first ever championship belt in the FS Cup debut.
I don't know who's going to be more stoked, her or me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I hope you both are extremely excited because
It's very
the
exciting.
effervescent personality you all bring to this is something that's truly remarkable. This is the Icon lightweight twins mixed in with the FS Cup. The FS Cup is a brand new class. The FTR Indian against any Revolution max-powered Harley, which would be a Pan American or the new Sportster S. And I know, talking to Nick Trask, whose rider is going to be sitting on the pole in the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP class, picked up one, so I wouldn't be surprised to watch this class grow exponentially. Throwing out all my big words for you today.
Benny's
really
just starting
impressed.
to creep away a little bit from Patricia right now, but man, one mistake from Benny, Patricia will be all over him again, and we'll have another really close race on our hands.
That's the thing about Benny. He's so calculated. He doesn't, if the track gives him a little bit, he'll take it. But if it's not, he'll settle, and he'll find another position on the track. Now, here we are. Again, the XR 1200s have been around for a very, very long time. They went out of production in 2009, but they're still obviously a very capable weapon, especially in the right hands. A couple of other riders to take a note of. Gregory Stinnett. Chris Wiggins, you mentioned him.
Wiggins, here we go.
Is that him right there?
That's him. Look at him go.
Now he's in
what
the full.
What a majestic beast. He cut all of his hair off.
He's in the full icon suit. You guys came out with road racing suits for the V-Twin World about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5. You guys are real pioneers.
Yeah, we it's something new for us. You know, we had a lot of riders that were taking these bikes to the track, and we wanted to do what we could to support them.
Nice job.
Yeah.
You guys are always giving back. Tell Kurt and everybody there we said thank you. Davin was, I thought we were
What a
excited.
jerk.
We were going to have him here.
Calling you out, David. Notice this. Yeah, well, he needed a front wheel for his Pan Am.
Now, here's something interesting, Ryan. I know your wife's here, and I know she's a competitive person. Patricia Ferrandez is in second. Her fiance, Corey West, is in third.
Wow, okay.
So that's a little bit
That's
now,
gonna
how
be
do you
a
go
nice
home?
dinner.
They're on the same bike. Like, what do you say
I
on your
take it
way
she's
home?
driving home today.
She probably is driving home today. She seems to be. And the folks from Mission Food love her. They gave her her own cooking show, and they're here joining us this weekend. And can't thank them enough for the support. They brought out these custom chips for everybody.
I went and took a couple for.
They're shaped like motorcycles
yeah,
and race cars
for the boys. Yeah,
I won't even open them. I'm like collector's chips. These are going to be worth something someday. I just hope I don't break them.
Well, the Icon Lightweight Twins class here from Sonoma, event-free so far as no off-track excursion. Benny just hunkered down, chin over the handlebars.
Look at that.
That's the attack position, huh?
That's right. Yeah, just getting over the front, keeping the front wheel down, and getting maximum traction and power to the ground.
Max tracks. Yeah.
He's broken away from the field and really starting to put in the work. I know that he has to come right back to the line, and the word is that he'll be able to use his pro stock bagger as he's going to graduate. After this, he's decided next year Bagger GP full-time, and we have an opportunity for he, Logan, and a few of the other guys to line up on the back row and just get a sample of what the Bagger GP class and the custom dynamics. Oh, we got some passes shaping up out there. Joe Sanderson, we want to give a shout-out to him, the fastest rep here, if you will.
Fastest rep in the West.
And he's from Ohio.
In the Middle East.
He was one of the very first drag specialty reps. He worked with Tom Motzko and Jim Betlock back up in Minnesota, and he made the move back home to Ohio. And man,
Tom, I love that guy.
He's
what a
here
card.
Having a great time. Here they come back through the field, and we go back.
I love those shots. Those are so cool.
I know a lot of the TV aficionado are like, oh, drone shots. I'm like, this is the best. This shows you the race line, shows you how you and why you chose that line, or if you made a mistake as well.
Also
yeah, exactly. It's just it's another point of a reference point for us and for the fans to actually kind of really feel like you're on the track or kind of riding above them and seeing the different lines, and also it can show some different angles of the track.
Yeah, you really see it undulating.
You're going to stay with that, aren't you? Tony Salima in that number 4 spot. Now, he's on the Alloy Art Pan American. Robbie Lane from Pan America put out a call to the industry. Hey, I'd like to get this bike on the track. He said he had so many people that stepped up, but he was able to partner up with one of the Harley dealers out there, and I'll definitely give their name so I could give them a shout-out. But they said, hey, here you go. Do what you can, and they're having a good time.
Yeah, that's very generous. I mean, that bike looks mean.
Ooh,
absolutely
right now.
mean.
So the 454, that is the machine piloted by Michael Kelly, and we'll have to get a look. Has he made a move on Patricia? Because if he has, he gridded all the way back in spot 11.
Dang.
So we'll have to keep our eye on it. I don't want to trust myself sometime in the technology. It'll belie you.
You got to see it for yourself.
That's it. We'll see it. We have some of the most exciting flaggers in the game, so we'll keep our eye on them as well as we get ready to go. And now laps are clicking away here. It is not getting you don't have a lot left time. If you're going to have an opportunity to make that pass, now's when you really have to start working it. And we have some people working on pass. Looks like Brian Shields has that green back wheel. He might have made a pass right there. He's doing some work. Again, made the big drive from Youngstown, Ohio, all the way out here.
Oh, wow.
About 36 hours, I would say, right, Robbie?
You know, you've driven it before from
I
here
have
to there.
drove it, yes.
So that's the 76 and the 900. So the 76, Brian Shields, and that is Brandon Quaid. So the owner of Quaid's Harley-Davidson doing work, as they say out there.
Not related to Dennis.
And you got the pit crews hanging up some boards, letting them know what's up. So nice job, gentlemen.
White flag is out.
Benny's going for yet another belt, and I don't know if he's going to be able to even pick this one up. He might have to come back and do it again because he's going to go right back on a big twin Harley-Davidson Dyna that Joe Hupp from Suburban Harley put together for him. Man, this is the Wisconsin assassin out there right now. He's taking home everybody's toys.
He might as well race all 4 today.
I think he's going to, truly.
Oh, is he racing all?
Really going to race all 4 classes just to never literally leave the track until we're done up here in the booth. Speaking of that, the Icon Lightweight Twins, you'll be down there handing out the hardware, making sure everybody...
I sure will. It's going to be exciting. Patricia's back in second.
I kind of think she had a little something. She's one of those people whose racecraft is very, very unique. Now, does her fiance put the move on her and he pick up his first belt?
I think he already did put the move on her. That's why they're married.
Or does she hold him off? Because Corey's in contention to be the first ever Custom Dynamics Bagger GP champion.
Dang.
But here comes one of the Cofords, the 160, about to go a lap down, I believe, to Benny Carlson. Benny comes up the inside. Again, that's the difference. Waits for a minute, line opens, boom, he just shoots through. And he's coming up on the back of the pack, so he's actually lapping. He's going to put a couple riders a lap down. Benny has, Joe Hupp has that thing working incredibly well. And again, patience right now. He's not in a rush. He's going to make it work.
Coming in some lap riders.
Yep. Not force it right now. I'm sure that Joe and Aaron kept him up to speed as to what's happening. Couple of riders. There's Joe Sanderson, the 101. Good-looking bike out there, the straight shooter crew.
Joe.
Lined that thing up pretty good. White flag and gang. There's the white, but we see it getting warmed up. Here's that checkers, and Benny Carlson picks up another belt. That'll be his 4th belt in 2 races.
That's
RV,
crazy.
he's not done yet.
No, he's not done yet. I mean, like you said, he's going to be I think he's going to line up on that grid all 4 races today, which is pretty impressive.
You can follow him on Instagram. It's at the Flagman.
He does a great job.
He is amazing, and he's at every race. Every race I see, he's there, flagging his little heart out.
He does a great job. He keeps it entertaining. He loves what he's doing. He's.
I was able to actually race a race with him being the flag man. It was
Does that get you stoked?
Boise, Idaho, actually. It was a vintage race, my first vintage race. He was there flagging it, so it's pretty awesome to see him out. He was exerting more energy than I was.
I'll see you guys down
listen,
there.
Amanda.
Yes.
Go have some fun on the podium.
Hey,
Thank
man,
you so
I only
much.
know how
Tell
to
everybody
have
at
fun.
Icon we love it. And later on, you got the Bassani Stun Show, so you're not done yet.
Calling it that and drag races.
Oh, that's going to be a good time.
See you guys.
See you guys, folks. That is going to wrap up the Icon Lightweight Twins and the FS Cup. We've got podiums. We've got belts to hang out. We've got 2 more races, and Benny Carlson is going to be in both of them, I believe. And right now, at the conclusion of the first 2 races, here from Sonoma, we have Benny Carlson standing on the top step at both of these, and he's not done yet. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be down on the podium handing out the hardware in 2 classes. This is FITE TV. This is the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers, presented by Custom Dynamics. We'll be back with the podium and then the NAM's Big Twin class coming up shortly. Stay tuned. We'll see you in just a moment. Well, we're back live here at Sonoma Raceway. And let's look at the top 10. It was the 555 of Anthony Gonzalez in 10. Brandon Quaid battled up into the number 9 spot on the 900. Brian Shields edged him all the way from Youngstown, Ohio. Number 76, and then Ron Schinke, number 8. Chris Wiggins, they call him the Hooligan Jesus, 09. Greg Stinnett, 816. Tony Salima finished in the number 4 spot. Corey West in the number 3 spot. Patricia Fernandez in the number 2. But for the FS Cup, Patricia Fernandez is the belt winner. Her fiance, Corey West, would be second. Tony Salima third. But the overall winner, and he's done it again, Benny Carlson. RV is going to be back on the track again here in just a minute.
Let's see if you can make it 3 in a row, Robbie. It's riding well today, riding well.
Well, they have a lot going on down on the podium right now. I know that Kristen Banks is having a spectacular afternoon. She's been doing really, really good. And they have them down there on the podium. They're getting everybody lined up. There's a lot of excitement. And let's go down to Kristen Banks, and she has Robbie Lane from Alloy Art.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here with Robbie Lane from Alloy. Robbie, how did Tony Salima end up winning on that Harley-Davidson Pan America out there?
He's just put in the work over the years. You know, he's one of the first guys to track these bikes, so I thought it was super appropriate to have him pilot the Pan America for the first time in a race on a track. So we're very proud of Tony, very proud of the bike. The bike's incredible. We only had a week with it. We borrowed it from our good friend Andrew. Thank you, Andrew. We did tires and a slip-on Bassani pipe, and that's what we got.
Tony, anything you want to say?
That was fun. No, that was. I'm very blessed to be able to participate in this first event for these guys, for these bikes. And the bike ran amazing, and thank you guys for letting me do it.
Congratulations on the 3rd place.
Once again, this is the FS Cup podium. We'll have the Icon Lightweight Twins podium, but let's go down and talk to Mr. Corey West.
We're down here with Corey West, 2nd place in the FS Cup. How did that Indian ride out there today?
Oh, not too bad. This is the bike with the 19-inch, 18-inch wheels, so we were on sport touring tires, but got to hand it to Bridgestone. Those things work pretty good. I just didn't get to go out in qualifying, so I had to start at the back of the grid. But that was super fun, and I'm stoked for my fiance, Patricia Fernandez, to take home the win.
Does that mean she's driving home? They were talking about it earlier today.
I'm never going to hear the end of this one.
Any sponsors you want to thank real quick?
Yeah, just the Saddleman guys, Bridgestone Tires. Thanks for all the help. Arai Helmets, Alpine Star Leathers. Thanks for taking care of us.
Well, congratulations on 2nd place.
Hey, thank you.
Now, the first ever winner. Not only the first ever winner, but the first female winner of the FS Cup, Patricia Fernandez. Congratulations. You told me you were going to be here. Here you are. What do you want to tell everyone?
Oh, man, I can't believe this. This was such a last-minute thing. They announced the FS Cup, and I called owner of Saddleman. I said, get me an FTR. I'm going to win. And I knew he knew I wasn't joking. And one phone call to Music City, India, and they got us a bike. This thing is almost stock. It was such a last-minute thing, but we made it work. I knew I was going to do it. I'm so happy to put the Indian on the top of the box, that old Harley versus Indian battle, and first ever female to podium with BRL, and we won! We won! I can't thank everyone that helps me. Obviously, Team Saddleman, they're amazing. Bridgestone, Mission Foods for supporting me any racing that I do. Alpine Stars, Arai Helmets. I'm sure I'm going to first get something, but to be on a podium, to share this with Corey, we're engaged to be married. This is so incredible.
Congratulations on a great win, and we hope to see you here later this afternoon.
Oh, I got Bagger GP racing up next, so we're going to put another one on for the girls.
For the girls. Back to you guys.
Well, folks, that's down on the podium. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk to the folks that podiumed in the Icon Lightweight Twins. We'll be back in just a moment with that podium as well.
There are places that come to life when the sun goes down, and even the most traveled roads transform in the darkness. As riders, the Law Tigers get it. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Some hands, your hands on the wheel, got a sexy touch. It's enough to make me and my Chevy blush so long. Take it off, but then highway, turn me on. I'll let you drive, babe. You can take it fast as you want. Girl, it looks damn good on. Start me up, stones on the radio. Girl, I love the way you let go. Don't waste your way, get a long way. Get out on the 4x4 play.
Well, we're back live from Sonoma Raceway. We have another podium to do because it's the Icon Lightweight Twins. Now, Amanda's been in the booth with us all day long. Now she's like, hey, I'm going to do the Bassani Stunt Show, but before I do that, I'm going to head down to the podium and be part of the action. Let's go down and hand out the hardware in the Icon Lightweight Twins class. Yeah, getting stuff a little bit dialed in down there. Coming up in a minute, we're going to have the NAM's Big Twin class, and we got Jeff Zielinski joining us in the booth. Biggest class again. What'd you do when you picked this class?
Apparently they measured my belly, so I don't know. The bigger the better, but there's 17 racers again, just like in Utah, so we're really excited.
You know, who would have ever thought that Dynas, FXRs, Softails, and Indian Chiefs were going to be the bikes to go, and it's pretty wild that this thing's so good.
Yeah, it is. It's that's a nice grid right there, man. It's 17 riders on the grid and all top racers, you know, going for the number one spot.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's head down to the podium right now and Kristen Banks and find out who the top three are in the Icon Lightweight Twins class.
Thanks, Rob. I'm down here with third place in the Icon Lightweight Twins class, Chris Wiggins on the Buell XP. You had some stout competition out there. How were you able to make it out here on the podium?
You know, I just came in this weekend with no expectations. I've done a few track days, you know, I've done a little bit of flat track racing, and I just thought if I could put my head down and get out of my own head and ride a good race, I knew the bike would handle it. And, you know, I knew I had some stiff competition, but I was like, ride my own race and do my own thing and see where the chips fall, and they happen to fall on the podium.
Now, we know you want to thank some sponsors that got you here. Who are they?
First and foremost, Bronny from Speed Merchant. Icon, the sponsor of this class, actually, Icon Moto has been a great sponsor. Glendale and Santa Clarita, Harley-Davidson, Lindell Brakes, Alloy Art, FTW Co., and Bridgestone Tires for hooking me up with some podium tires this weekend, too.
Well, congratulations again on that third place finish, Chris, in the Icon Lightweight Twins. Next up, second place in the Icon Lightweight Twins, we have Gregory Stinnett. How did you feel out there on that bike?
Felt great. Dunlop tires. Big stuck great. Gotta love it. Hometown track, Sonoma. Gotta thank all my sponsors, Lindell Brakes, Hard Rider, RPM Moto, and my team, my girlfriend, and my dad. Hell yeah.
Congratulations. What a great time to get second place in your hometown. Now, first place, the man of the hour, the one that we've all been waiting to talk to, the guy that told me yesterday that he had to end up on a podium because he was racing 3 classes, maybe 4. You're 2 for 2. How did you do that?
Yeah, I think it's challenging out there, but Joel has always got from Suburban Motors, Harley-Davidson's always put me on good bikes, so it makes my job a heck of a lot easier. So you just put your head down and go for it.
Now, Benny, are you in 1 more class or 2 more class? There's speculation. We can't figure out if you have 1 more or 2 more left.
Yeah, we'll run the Dyna, and then we'll just see how the rest of the day goes. But we'll see. So we're going to for sure run the Dyna. We're going to give it a go, and just hats off Drag Specialties for putting this whole thing on. You know, Icon for sponsoring everything. Dunlop Tires, Bell Helmet, Suburban Motors, Harley-Davidson. Just everyone that's behind this team. You know, we're going to continue to put our best foot forward week in and week out and grow with the series and grow with the industry. So hats off to all the aftermarkets that came out and supported this event. Thank you.
Congratulations, and we hope to see you back up here later.
Well, they certainly know how to do it here. I know that the NAM's Big Twin class is going to be called to the grid. We need you guys and gals to get ready. Benny's ready. Benny said if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. And Benny Carlson, doesn't get to go back and celebrate with the team, Zepp Zielinski. He's going back because he wants that NAMS Big Twin belt himself.
Hey, when you have 17 racers and you get to do it twice in a row, it makes it more of a challenge. So he seems to be ready.
You know, we talked about it earlier. One of the big challenges, these guys were taking street bikes, making them race bikes, and they were taking lights and turn signals and the ABS off and taking a lot of these things off. And the CAM bus was going, hey, we're not ready to go. Who was the first call that I made when I knew that the electronics were going to be an issue?
I think it was a year before this even happened. You did call me, and luckily we did a lot of research when they came out in 2014 with the CAM bus system. It's not as simple as duct tape and a pair of scissors. You definitely have to have a little bit more information before you start moving stuff around.
Truly years ago, and I mean, I'm talking, the 90s, even early 2000s, they'd have carburetors and things, and you could do about anything you wanted. Even the Harley-Davidson and Indian say, hey, we're technologically advanced, we have this. And when we say CAM bus, just for the folks at home, I know that my wife, hopefully she's watching, she's either that or super busy. What is it? What is a CAM bus?
CAM bus is basically it's almost like a flow of technology, like a stream, and it's sending data from a switching unit to a control unit. The control unit on a Harley-Davidson is the body control module, or BCM, and the switching unit is basically the handlebar switches. There's a computer chip in there, and that's how they communicate back and forth. And it's really the communication back and forth is called the bus.
And as they do that, it would sense that something's been altered and stuff, and it literally shut the bike off. And that was a problem. So what did you do to kind of combat that? Did you eliminate it, or did you bypass it? What was really what happened?
It's a good question. I think the first thing you had to do is understand how it works. And basically, the way that Harley did it is there's a threshold. So, for example, I don't want to bore everybody, but like a horn draws 5 amps worth of power. Okay, well, Harley basically said anything over a certain amount of amperage or anything below a certain amount of amperage, which is that threshold, there's a problem. So if there's a short, obviously you'll be less, or you could be possibly more than the amperage, and the bike will say we have an error code. So they put that little switch up on the left handlebar control. You can check the code, go on your phone and say, okay, I have a horn issue. And it helps diagnose, and it also helps them track things. All that historical data is in the ECM and the BCM. So
we know that Harley is going to be 119 years old this year. When did this come into technology? Is it something that was the late 2000s, early 2000s, or is it 5-6 years old?
It's 2014. Everything went CAN bus. The first motorcycle that Harley produced was the Softail in 2011. That was CAN bus. 2012, they went to the Dyna. 2014, it was everything. So it's definitely a challenge, but it's been around for a long time. And previous to that, there was what's called J1850, very similar technology, but not as advanced. And their speedometers were J1850. Their ignition systems, their EFI, their early EFI from 2005 on up to 13 on dressers was all what they call J1850 technology. So it's pretty advanced, but it does make it more of a challenge. So you definitely need some engineers that understand how to write code, because that's really what it is. So.
Who would have thought years ago? I know that the Motorcycle Mechanics Institute, for instance, they'd teach you, how the cam worked, how the valves work, things like that. Now you have to be, and this is where we're telling the kids, pay attention in your computer classes. You could be the most valuable member of a race team. Ryan Villapoto, you had guys that logged computers into your dirt bikes for years and could change the whole personality of the bike.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. It's that's one thing that just walking through the pits looking, once there gets a few chassis engineers, guys that can do traction control and all these things, like there's so many facets to this racing, this industry right now that are so untapped because it's so new. So we have a lot to learn, but as soon as one gets in, it's coming. We're going to really make big strides in power, speed, just what these riders can do on these motorcycles.
Yeah, I'll tell you, for me, I actually had a friend that lived local who everybody knows, Faraci, right? And
Araldo.
We used to build harnesses for him back in the day because he was only 5 minutes from my shop. And they were doing traction control and all this computer stuff on Ducatis. I'm talking 15 years ago. So those guys are a little bit more advanced, I think, than we were, but that's why we're all here, right? That's why the BRL was created.
That's right. The NAM's Big Twin class is out on their sighting lap. And let's jump back here real quick. You mentioned traction control. I know that Harley has something right now that kind of resembles it, but we're talking about things. And did they have traction control a little bit in motocross finally?
Yeah, so the way it works in Supercross and motocross is you can't have a wheel speed sensor, so it bases itself off of the RPM spike. And then GPS of how fast you're going. So, and it works really well. It's not MotoGP, or Ducati or any of those, major industry factory, motorcycles that
I know Yamaha has a spectacular setup on their bikes.
They do. So, but for our rules, we can't have wheel speed sensors. So it's got to be based off the spike of the RPM, which, like I said, we can get pretty dang close and do a lot of work with that. It definitely helps.
We look at the riders down on the track. It's the NAM's Big Twin class, and they'll be lined up to head in La Perra Turn 1. Scotty Groh, number 81 down there, 17th gate pick. Big Jim Teets. You guys have probably seen him on any of the Instagram things where he hollers at the camera. This guy brought 2 bikes out. He brought the big rig out. Great to have him with us. He rides the number 23 bike. 15th gate pick, the 866 is Joey Lutz. 14th gate pick, Frank Rinaldi Jr., number 74. I believe he's FXR mounted. You're an FXR aficionado.
Heck yeah.
You got a big build going on against a couple buddies.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to talk about that now, but there's.
Well, I don't know but who are these buddies you're building against? Couple no-name guys?
Yeah, like Brian Clock. Nobody knows him. Paul Yaffe, Curtis Hoffman.
No names.
Yeah, exactly. Jason Mook, and we're doing something.
Where are you guys going to debut him?
I don't know if you ever heard of Nick Trask too.
I've heard of that guy.
Yeah, he's involved. We're debuting him in Phoenix for the Bike Week.
That's going to be something we should go check out. The 104 is Charles Condit. Zachary Reniger, number 666, he'll have 12th gate pick. Brendan Murphy, the 113, is the 11th gate pick. Nicholas Bartlett, 999 in the 10th gate pick. Then we have Lenny Howard, 551. Carter Crafton, he has the 8th gate pick. My buddy Lucas Gibo, I love this guy. He does a great job of being he's just an inspiration. He makes me smile and happy every time I see him. The guy's just a good dude. 407, 7th gate pick. Josh Nichols, the 189. Clay Braun, another part of the Quaid Racing team, 5th gate pick. Ravi Patel, the 413. And he's done some work to his bike. He's lightened it up quite a bit. We'll keep an eye on him. Front row, Tony Salima going for it again on the Speed Merchant Bacti bike. Sean Ungvakarski is the 2nd gate pick, number 48. And guess who has pole position for the 3rd time today?
Wow.
Benny Carlson going for his 3rd belt today. This will be his 5th overall if he picks this one.
He's going to have to buy some more pants for all those belts.
He's going to have to. I'm telling you, he's the new WWF champ. He could go into the ring like Hulk Hogan. He's going to have a whole
forget the Slim Jim.
A whole army of people holding his belts up. If Joe goes to Sturgis next year and he's on the stage with Kid Rock, he's going to have Kid hold up a couple of the belts for him.
Well, exactly. We know it's going to be on his poster, him just standing with all of his belts around his arms, around his neck.
So they've all had a chance. We see on the backside of the track, it looks like Jim Teets is getting ready to come back in after his sighting lap, and these riders will have this chance to launch out. This will be the last one of the shorter sprint races. Then we go to the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP a little longer. But the NAM's Big Twin class, again, the biggest turnout of riders. I'm telling you, you like FXRs, this is your class.
Absolutely. There's nothing better than seeing these big twins modified to handle this racetrack. So I'm really excited.
For years people argued the FXR is the greatest Harley ever built, but there's never been a racing class for them, ever. And we came out with it at Utah.
Right.
You were like, let's give it a try. What the heck? I'm like to support the industry. And we did it, and ever since then, it's been loaded with talent, great innovation, and some of the best bikes. I like the silhouettes down there on the ground.
Cool.
It almost looks like the Mission Food chips down there. They're all dialed in.
It's funny what you said about the FXR, considered one of the best bikes. What's so true about that? It still is.
Oh, it's a fantastic motorcycle. It's basically a smaller bagger chassis, 3-point rubber mount. It has the triangle underneath it. They used to call it the featherbread design back in the day. It looks like they're going to get some heat back in these tires and give them one more opportunity to get these machines up to temperature. They'll take that lap. They'll come back. They'll grid them again. And then we'll launch these guys out into the race. Now, Benny Carlson, number 45 here, it's a Dyna. And Joe Hupp from Suburban Harley said, I'm going to try to do something a little different. And he grafted a bunch of the XR 1200 tail sections and thing on the bike. One of the best looking bikes down there. There he is up there. You see the catch pans underneath him. Done a lot of things here that are traditional road race things. When we came into this, we didn't want to go, no, we're going to interpret road racing rules. We said we want to be, we want to acclimate to the road race community. We have race school. We have licensing. We have the whole thing. I think that we're moving the needle in safety apparel, helmets, leather suits, race stands. Imagine how many guys with the Harley ever had a race stand. Now they have two, one for the front and one for the back, and everybody's starting to do them.
Tire warmers.
Tire warmers. They have to be going, what's going on? We're sold a lot more tire warmers this year.
Especially a little chilly out here this time of year, so they're definitely necessary.
We were planning on doing this race tomorrow. We made an adjustment. We wanted to have the integrity of the race be good. The crowds turned out really well here, and the riders are truly appreciative because this place can get not only slick, but they talk about the standing water and things. We said, you know what? We're such a brand new organization. Let's just do it right. Let's just make sure that the crowd that comes out really has a chance to see it. Let's make sure the racers enjoy themselves and that the bikes hopefully make it back safe. We're going into the holiday Christmas season, by the way. Merry Christmas to you, my friend.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to you.
The New
Couldn't
Year's,
ask for a better weather day, though.
the bikes are running really well because it is just a bit cooler. It's not cold out there. It's not like people are standing around in snowmobile suits like we will be once we get back east. Now, you're out of Philadelphia area, right?
Yep.
King of Prussia type town.
Yeah, I was born and raised in King of Prussia. Yep. I'm in
That's
Fort
a great
Washington
name. Now, what's the
so.
King of Prussia football team's mascot's name? Like, who do you play? The King of Prussia what? The Czars? I mean, what are you guys?
No, well, it depends. It depends on which high school, but the Upper Merion High School were the Vikings, and that was really. Then there's like CYO leagues and all that stuff. So there's several different leagues. A lot of big football where I'm from. So
football's
kind of
big
like Ohio.
Oh
like
yeah,
the
OH10. You know how we do it back there.
Oh yeah.
The Ohio State Buckeyes.
Number one in the nation.
Boy, did we get
right?
smoked by Michigan. Holy cow. Ugh, brutal. Did you even go to high school?
No, did not.
God bless him.
No, I was already making $1 million a year. I decided to forego 10th grade.
I don't blame him.
No. So
think
you
I
didn't
would
go to
do the
high
same
school at
thing.
all?
No, I did
Prom?
not.
Did you ever go to prom?
Nope, never
You should
did it.
take your missus to a prom someday.
Oh, you think?
Heck yeah, she'd love it. She'd fit right in. She'd love it. Look at them down there gridded up and ready to go. Now, these riders, they'll clear the grid. They'll get and you see the mechanic or the spotter for each team will head back over to there. They'll keep an eye on it. Can Benny Carlson head into La Pera turn 1 with the whole shot again?
There's a lot of racers. This is going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Tonight, the Brad Boyle drag race, the Bassani stunt show. We've got one more big GP race after this, but right now the biggest class, once again, the NAM's Big Twin class. And it sounds like we've got a launch.
Right on. There they go. Wow, real close.
Does Benny grab the whole shot again? It's going to be interesting to see.
I believe he missed a shift right off the line.
He is back in the number 2 spot behind the 48 of Sean Ungvarsky. Here they come. Now, again, Dynas, Softails, FXRs, all of it. And there's Jim Teets back there. He's trying to get some sponsorship from Chick-fil-A. Benny Carlson made a quick move on Sean Ungvarsky. RV, where's he at again?
Yeah, back up in front. This guy's he's on rails today. We'll see if anybody can knock him off that top step, but I don't think so today.
He had extra coffee or something this morning at the hotel.
He's from Wisconsin. He had a bratwurst and probably a Miller High Life or something.
Well, for him, it's summertime, this weather. So.
Oh, he's probably walking around in a tank top and shorts and flip-flops.
Sandals.
Sandals.
Yeah. East Coast flip-flops.
And if you're from Australia, jangles. Jangles. So there they go, the number 45 one more time, Benny Carlson. And this is a Dyna. If you see the primary case, he has it. Joe Hupp from Suburban really puts a lot of time and effort into just the attention to detail to the bike. And he has so many different little nuances. If you ever have a chance to come out, the pits are always open. Come down and check out and see what they do with these things. But it looks like the Dyna has the advantage right now on the new M8 Softail. So the twin cams, there's still a lot of fight left in those bikes.
Oh, yeah. I actually spent a lot of time with Joe at the last race. It looks like we're going to have a new injection system that we're going to be able to debut for him and a couple of the other racers.
All that could do is just make things easier on you, huh?
Well, it'll definitely take a lot of weight off. The difference between our new harness and the existing stock harness is about 9 pounds.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's free horsepower, gang. The guys at NAMS know how to make sure that it's done right. Obviously, is it an engineering background you bring?
Not really. Just an enthusiast since I was a little kid. I've been working on the bikes for about 35 years. So just something I'm really interested in. So I try to do the best that I can and deliver that to our customers.
Sean Ungvarsky, 48. He's in the tuck. He's in the draft, but Benny Carlson is trying to break it right now and move away from him.
Yeah, another close race here. We'll see. You know, I'm assuming you were just talking about that much weight. You know, every 7 pounds is a horsepower, and then depending on where that weight's at, lower center of gravity, changes a lot on a motorcycle.
Yeah, we couldn't believe it. We actually took a factory harness from a 2013 dresser and weighed it, and then took out what we needed to make it work, and it was 9 pounds.
Wow, that's amazing, and that's different. Tony Salima putting in good work on the Speed Merchant machine. Tony Salima, we're going to have to do some points checking here. He and Sean Ungvarsky, did they have this worked out? They're going to have battling for the #1 overall place in points. Benny Carlson did not race this class at the first one, so the Metzler Pro Stock class, he's the #1 plate holder. The Icon Lightweight class, he has a perfect 50 points. This could be him picking up 75 points in one day so far.
Wow.
That's a big day at the office.
Yeah, that's a big day.
That's a lot of points.
Do they pay per points, Rob? Bagger Racing League pay per points?
No, right now.
Not yet.
Right now, he's doing some good work out there. And we see
we
him.
got a great battle for second, third, and fourth.
Boy, he is way out there. Look at Benny go.
Got another bit of an advantage, and they do have a little battle shaping up back there. We'll have the... wow, look at, there's a bunch of little 3-packs of guys out there just racing for positions. Drone footage picking up the action of this beautiful facility here. People lined up on the bridges. They're in the stands. They're down in the paddock area. The Bassani Stunt Show. They're lined up on the drag strip. They're out here having a good time today.
Absolutely. It's a much bigger grounds than what we had the first race, and I'll tell you, there's so much to do here. A lot of people here today. Really good turnout.
The 413, that's Ravi Patel that's putting in some work right now. And everybody's this is at that point right now, early in the racing world, where they're figuring out what works. Do you need a small fairing? Do you not need a small fairing? Is it the soft tail, or is it the twin shock Dyna chassis that's set up? Obviously, Benny Carlson showing that the Dyna, there's a lot of love left in that bike.
Yeah, absolutely. Shocks play a big role, obviously. Suspension's huge.
Here they come, another battle shaping up, and you go to the inside. He just moved him out of the way right there. Said, no, don't turn down yet. I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. With just watching where these guys setting them up. It's road race, setting them up, coming into the turns, showing them a wheel, and it just pushes them wide.
So Ravi Patel comes under attack from Clay Braun, it appears.
He's got an FXRT fairing on that thing.
You should.
Yeah, well, why not?
Heck yeah. You probably have an FXRT fairing on a bike or two.
I'm building one right now.
There you go, see? Cutting edge. Here we go, back in and out of the left and rights. They get these bikes pointed the right direction. Tony Salima in that #3 spot, and Tony could be going for the number. And that's what happens. You get him. You make a move, and you get him.
And he just
got a little squirrely on that corner.
That's how quick it can happen out there.
It's almost like that Toyota Prius was racing, didn't it?
It looked like it. Hey, can you imagine driving past here and hearing the sounds that are coming out of the racetrack today? You got to be going, what in the world is going on over there?
Especially with the Prius, because there's no sounds coming out of those.
Big drag race down that big front straight. We were up here earlier with Tyler O'Hare, and he said well over 100 miles an hour. They head back into La Pera, turn 1. Christine's got to be excited. Are her and Corey hanging around down there today? I haven't seen them yet. I've been up in the booth all day.
They haven't been. They weren't here today, but I did talk to them this morning, and they were excited about the race today. So
here comes Tony Salima back on the gas. Jim Teets back there is going to come into play now. Is he somebody they race around and catch him at the right part, or could he be a factor? He's on the inside, and quickly they're all by him.
Is he having troubles, I assume?
He needs a wiring harness, I'm going to guess.
Could be.
That's what happened. These things go, and then they shut themselves down. They don't know what to do, so they go into like a limp mode almost.
Limp
Is that
mode,
what it is?
absolutely, it does, where the rear cylinder will shut down to keep it cool. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Harley did that quite a few years ago.
Here's one of the crazy things that was doing, and look at the number 12 of Tony Salima putting some more work in right now. So they were talking about that, and they were getting these bikes dialed in, trying to figure them out. And, oh, look at this battle shaping up. Tony Salima, one of the OGs here, racing with Ravi Patel. I believe that's Clay Braun in the hunt. Lucas Gibo up to 5th. I knew Lucas was going to assert himself here. Last time he didn't get any laps in when we were in Utah, started on the back grid, finished 5th. This time he had to work on his wiring harness, on his fuel injection, on a twin cam FXR. Didn't get out on the track, had to start in the back again, and here he is racing back to 5th. We ever get Lucas all dialed in before, he's going to be a factor.
Yeah, especially with an FXR. So it's exciting to see those on the bike, or on the track, I should say.
So the NAM's Big Twin class is certainly a interesting lineup. The biggest class of the day once again, doing great work out there. And Tony Salima trying to keep everybody behind him and move up a little bit. Clay Braun is into that number 2 spot. Salima is in 3rd. Ravi Patel 4th. Lucas Gibo still holds on to the number 5 spot. And we talked about Tony Salima earlier. The very first race, he was going to racetracks back maybe 8, 9, 10 years ago, and people were giving him a hard time because he was on a Harley. They're like, you don't belong here. This isn't for you. And as he went, he brought a few more friends, a few more friends, a few more friends. And when this started, this was like he'd been training for this his whole life. And,
it's like the holy grail of races.
And he's certainly a factor every time he's on the track. But Benny Carlson on a Suburban Harley, rider number 45 is going for his 3rd belt of the day.
It doesn't surprise me. I'll tell you, Joe and his crew is super, super smart guys, and they really know what they're doing over there. Really impressive.
Look back down the front straight as they come through, and everybody has certainly found their race line out there. Seems like everybody has it pretty dialed in right now. Clay Braun doing a great job, 9:51. Dragon knee, Tony Salima there, but Ravi Patel bringing it back to him. Keeping the battle on. Straightening out this little chicane right here, getting it in and out of there.
Boy, it looks fun.
We're going to have an industry class, I think, in the next one. Get you, Brian
It'll take
Clark.
12 minutes to do one lap.
Class, Rob.
What's that?
I get to race the
I don't think
you
that's
fair. You get to race that. Okay, you're in.
I veto that. That's no fair here. It could take 12 minutes to do one lap.
No, I think you'd be surprised how good some of you guys
Get
are.
that Yamaha Bolt out there.
Be a factor.
What is that, a 250cc?
I don't know what it is.
Look at him tighten it up, tighten it up. You see the drag strip in the background, but it's out front, the 45 Benny Carlson, and here comes another big drag race. The Speed Merchant bike has some speed. You know that Brandon Holstein can get some power out of that. And we got that's a big drag race up the hill there. That's the 866 machine going a lap down. That would be Joe Lutz. Held his line just like you're supposed to. They raced around him.
Yep, faster guys will go right around you.
Boy, and they are fast. Be interesting to see what top speed is on this.
They've had some trap speeds that are right around 118 to 120 miles an hour when we're in the faster section of the tracks. Now, what we're trying to do with the BRL is find the tracks that make sense for everybody. We don't need the 1.5 long straightaways where the bikes do. We want the tighter, shorter, the tracks where you race the facility rather than having to just tuck in and lay down for a half an hour down a straight. So we're saving a lot of motors, put it that way.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like our rides to Sturgis every year where you just find 6th gear and lock that throttle.
So the NAM's Big Twin, Sonoma, California, Benny Carlson, Clay Braun, and here is that battle. This ain't even a battle anymore. It's war now.
Those guys are still staying on top of each other.
They'll be deciding the number 1 plate in the NAM's Big Twin class. We'll have a presentation at the end of all of the racing for the number 1 plate. We'll have 4 of them that we're handing out. Dragging a little foot. Looks like Valentino Rossi out there dragging that foot coming into the corner.
Yeah, it'd probably just, relieving a little pressure off your foot or your balance point, just trying to get the bike to hook up.
I saw him do that earlier, and I was going to bring that up. Is that something that you would normally do, or just?
I mean, a lot of the MotoGP guys, if you see them coming into the turns now, completely different. But they'll stick that that one of their legs off, the inside leg, let it hang off. Obviously, if you're coming into a turn, you can't you got to use the rear brake. So it's normally the left leg, coming in after they're done downshifting. And to be honest, I don't really know if it's just something to get your legs off, or.
I think Ravi Patel just had a little. Oh, and the checker flag is what determined. It was Benny Carlson, Patel, and Clay Braun. We weren't even paying attention. We got that one in. So Benny Carlson, Ravi Patel, Clay Braun, and Salima had slid back to the number 4 spot. We'll have our race director, Alex Mock, decipher this one for the number 1 plate for the NAMS Big Twin class. My friend, guess where you got to go? Hand out the hardware.
Absolutely. Hey, before I go, let's say special prayer for all those people in the Midwest that were affected by that tornado last night.
No, absolutely. Obviously, somebody that always gives back. Thank you very much.
It's good seeing you guys.
Have a great Christmas. We'll see you down
Merry
in the paddock
Christmas, Mike.
afterwards. And congratulations, the biggest class here, and what a lot of action.
Thank you, brother.
Jeff Zielinski heading down. He's going to be part of the action. And Benny Carlson looks over to the fence once again. He might be picking up a hitchhiker.
That's right. Why not? Oh, there he is, right there.
Yep, hop on, buddy. I'll get you back. That's how you give back.
We're heading to Aspen, California. Isn't that what Dumb and Dumber says?
I don't know. They could be. I tell you what, they're going to make their way back to the podium. We're going to take that commercial break, and when we come back, the NAMS Big Twin, Jeff Zielinski, will be handing out the hardware. We'll be back in just a moment.
There are places that come to life when the sun goes down. And even the most traveled roads transform in the darkness. As riders, the Law Tigers get it. If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Sexy touch is enough to make me and my Chevy blush so long. Take it off, and highway, turn me on. Now let you drive, babe. Take it fast as you want. Girl, this day looks damn good on. Start me up, stones on the radio. Girl, I love the way you let go. Don't waste your way, go the wrong way. Get out on the 4x4 play.
Here we are back at Sonoma Raceway, final race of the day. Joining us in the booth from Custom Dynamics, from the track, from British Superbike Racing, from just about everything fun, James Rispoli. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm stoked, dude. I've been waiting around all day for this. You know, I've been watching the racing, catching up with all my friends, catching up with all the riders, seeing how the track is, and I'm just excited to be in the booth with you guys.
I know you've been at a lot of races in your day. The one that's different about here is everybody's just buddies. They're all hanging out. They're cheering each other on. Then you got guys like Benny Carlson just never leaving the track. It's a little different vibe.
Yeah, it seems like more of like a surfer vibe, you know. Everyone's just kind of chilling by the beach, having a, you know, catching some waves, drinking some beers. It sounds like, you know, it's kind of the vibe that's going on here. So I'm excited for this race. I know these guys, when they put the shield down, they still are all super competitive guys. And Shane Narbonne, talking with him a little bit, he was saying he's got a little bit of a win it or bin it attitude going on, and all the other boys seem to like they're just getting things together. So I'm pretty excited, man, to see how these guys, one, get it together, and two, how the kind of race transpires.
You know, we were talking earlier in the show before the television broadcast, and you said, you know, I wanted to come out and see it. You've been busy. You do flat track. We were talking earlier, you did British Superbike, and you said, you know, being over there was different. But you said, you know, this has legs. I think there's an opportunity here, especially as we grow. And, you know, it's going to be something good. Here's the best thing. Let's go down to the podium. Let's find out how this one shook up. Then we've got Custom Dynamics GP. Let's go down to the podium. Kristen Banks, who do you have down there with us?
I have down here the third place in the NAMS Big Twins, Clay Braun. Now, Clay, can we talk about that Quaid Harley team? The battle between Ravi, you, and Tony for second, third, and fourth. How did you edge out that third place finish?
Honestly, it was just a party on Harleys. I mean, me and Ravi are so new to this. OG Tony and Lucas have been nothing but helpful to us. And as you can see in that battle, Tony's been a great teacher. And hats off to Tony and nothing but the Quaid Racing team. There's 5 on the team, but it's an army. So I just want to say thank you guys. Hats off to you guys. I appreciate you. Woo!
Are there any sponsors you want to thank here today?
I'd like to thank Quaid Racing team, i.e. Baggers, for creating a custom tank for me on, you know, 2 weeks ahead. Jade Affiliated for making custom wheels. RX2 for getting us out here. Speed King Cycles. The list goes on. I'm just thankful to be here and actually being on the podium.
Well, congratulations on that third place finish. Garage, and we were talking about how you guys were the youngest guys on the team, and you came out and showed up the guys with a second-place finish. How did you feel out there?
Man, it was tough with Tony and Clay battling the whole time, but we had a good race. It's real racing, you know, and they gave me a run for my money. I'm glad to go out there, have a good run, and come back here and still have a smile on my face and hang out with all these guys, you know, so I really can't ask for any more.
Now, are there some sponsors you want to thank here today?
Quaid Racing Team, RX2 Motorcycle Lawyers, Motul Oil, Russ Warnemont Designs, and Saddleman Seats, and there's so many more people that go involved with this. It's truly just a team effort.
Congratulations on your second-place finish. Now, first place and our heavyweight champion of the day so far. Where are we going to put all these belts is the real question. 3 different classes, 3 first places, 3 different bikes. Which bike have you felt the most comfortable on today?
Well, I know it's not that one. That thing's way too fast. Whatever Joe put in the motor on that one, it's like I can't even go wide open over the hills and stuff, so he put an absolute missile together. But that was probably the Bagger, I guess, you know, just because it's a little bit slower handling. But all in all, I'm out here racing motorcycles, living the dream, and that's what it's all about these days. Again, hats off to NAMS for putting this and you know, supporting this race for Utah and here. Suburban Motors, Harley-Davidson, Bell Helmets, Dunlop Tires, everyone that's behind the program, Legend Suspension. Everything's dialed in. It's making my job easy.
Well, congratulations, Benny Carlson, on your first place in the NAMS Big Twins.
They just keep bringing him bikes, it seems like.
Yeah, definitely. He's been cleaning up today. He looks really good out there, super comfortable, and, you know, it's pretty good.
I know you've had a couple 3-moto days at Loretta Lynn's and stuff. You ever won 3 classes in one day?
I don't know if I've ever won 3 classes in one day. That's a big feat, and he's going to be He's going back out for his fourth one.
I think he is. I think he's going to come back out.
I'm sure he's gonna. He looks pretty fresh up there on the podium. You know, why not try to make it 4?
Obviously, they talk about motocross, supercross being, I mean, truly one of the heart rate, high-end things. Where does road racing fit in? I mean, obviously there's adrenaline, but is it something where he can come back and be fresh for this, James, or is it something where, you know, is it fatigue in the arms, in the legs? Where does it really affect you?
I don't know. I've been speaking with a couple of the guys down there, and they're saying they are getting a little bit fatigued out there. You know, these bikes are super heavy, especially in the GP class. So I would imagine he's having some fatigue, but the races are a bit short. So he could be pretty good. He looks phenomenal. So I would expect him. We're going to root him on if he does go out, but he's got some stiff competition out there, and I think this one's going to be probably the toughest one for him.
We've got a battle between Corey West, Jake Johnson, and you know what Jake will do if there's something on the line. Then you mix in Ben Bostrom, got to be the most savvy of all of them. Then you got guys like Shane Narbonne, who had a very tough first race. I think they even had a DNF. So he sits like 7th in points, but he was fastest in qualifying. First time the turbo bike has been fastest in qualifying, and I know that Nick Trask and the boys have been working on it, so what do you think?
Well, you know, Narbonne did a 47.7 and West did a 47.8, so there's only a tenth in between them. And then there's a little bit of a gap between Johnson, Mazzata, and Bostrom, which will kind of look like might be a gaggle, but I know that Bostrom had a little bit issues with his motorcycle, and they're working on that. So I think it's going to be, you know, a lot of those guys step up when the race comes on, and I think they're all like really looking forward to racing with each other again, because they said at Utah they had a blast, and I'm pretty excited to see how, if Shane's going to really put it on him and see if West goes, you know, kind of after him about it or just looks at a championship.
You know, I remember during your career we'd talk about it a lot, and you'd always be top 2 or 3 quickest in qualifying, and you're like, I know where the race line is. I need to know where the other lines are. Racing and practicing, there's no way that they're the same. You have so much when you're dead stop next to the guy, green flag goes, and you launch, there's something that comes out in the race.
Definitely. You know, the chicane and after the carousel, those are 2 real big passing opportunities, and in the last corner, you know, the bus stop. So I think, like you said, there's going to be there's the racing line, and I think, you know, there's a couple guys that have different front brake setups, which is going to be pretty crucial today. I know West has a Brembo setup, which is Superbike front, you know, front brakes, that's going to be huge, especially trying to stop a 600-plus motorcycle. It's going to be big, and I know these guys, once they all get in a train, a lot of them are going to catch on. You know, Bostrom, he's not he's just chilling. He can do the pace if he needs to. So it's going to be interesting to see, and we hope this is going to be a barn burner. We hope they're going to get, super close, and we want to see some good action.
What about they talk about the brakes all the time. Are there thumb brakes on these things?
So Tyler O'Hara said that he's had a thumb brake. He was telling me and Ryan about it, and it helps him a ton. I've used them in Superbike days, and I know a few guys have. We incorporated it into dirt track a little bit, especially on the right side. When you're trying to hang off these bikes and reach for the foot brake, it kind of gets a little bit, I would say ergonomically not very well. So it's more comfortable to just use that thumb brake. So it'll be interesting.
There's your sponsor down there. If you stand up here and we take a peek down there, Hawk Mazada. Now, tell me how'd you get sponsored? What was it?
So his brother actually owned the company. It was a long time ago, but both of them, super cool guys, and I reached out one time, and at the end of the day, I wanted custom helmets, man. I thought it was always super cool, looking at all the top guys having custom helmets, and I never really was able to, so I was able to approach him, and he made me some, super cool, bright yellow helmets and pink and stuff like that, which was, just different. And, growing up as a kid, you look at, all the top riders, and you're like, man, you just want to have that. So tried to make it happen, and they ended up making it happen, so it was fun.
Here they go. They're going to head out. Now, this would be the sighting lap. I think they come back, grid them, and they're going to give them a hot lap, and then we're going to get this thing launched, 8 laps. Speaking of custom helmets, you're going to have to get a custom one made because the Motocross of Nations are coming back to Redbud, and that can only mean one thing. You've never lost a Motocross of Nations, and the Pit Bike of Nations truly returns.
That's right. Yeah, it's coming back to Redbud 2022. And, I think that's probably one of the highlights of my career, having adults racing kids' motorcycles and having about 30,000 probably people, 20,000 people around the track.
Now, here's what's different. The track was about the size of a football field, and we had 30,000 people storm the track for what, about an hour?
Yeah, I could see.
Have you ever, is that?
I mean, none of that's ever happened, I could see it on your face, how am I going to get this race off the line? And as soon as bikes, and by the way, everybody is completely hammered at this thing. All these Europeans that flew over for MXON, and now there's a pit bike race. They're all jammed, packed around the track. And as soon as the bike started up, it was like, the seas were parted. So we were able to go racing.
It was something else, and you're going to come back to defend the title. You and same team, right?
That's right. I believe so, yeah. Me, Willie B., and Carson Brown.
So the Team America.
It's huge.
It was absolutely one of the craziest things ever. And then the Belgians, the French, the Italians, I'm trying to think. The Ireland team, everything was there. Now they've been reaching.
I think it's going to be a little harder this next year because now they know, they know what the story is. The thing was, U.S. put together a great team, and then you had some of these other guys that were like, oh yeah, well we'll grab a mechanic from over here and we'll grab the media guy from over here and put him on the team. So I don't think it's going to be that way anymore.
Well, these guys have come back, and let me see if we got. We're going to have a fourth member join us this time. We're going to have 4 guys. Tyler, come on up here. Tyler O'Hara is going to join us. Now, he's not going to have the headsets, but what the heck? We might as well have a 4-pack. For the final race of the day. Pull up a chair. So we've got Tyler O'Hara. And right at this moment, till the green flag, he's currently second in points.
You still got this.
He still has.
You got this, man.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
So we got Ryan Villapoto. We've got James Rispoli. And why not have Tyler O'Hara? We got a little 4-pack for the final race of the day. You've been down there pit side. You handed out some hardware. How's it going?
I'm having a good time. Everybody's having a good time. We're having a good time. Everybody's having a good time. All the racers seem to be happy, having a good time. I went and checked in with Corey West. He's pretty excited about the race, has a shot at the championship. And then old Ben Bosham, you never count him out. And then old Narbonne, he's fired up. He wants to win this thing.
Now, who you putting your money on? See, your guys aren't down there, so you get to bet. Now, who do you like?
So Narbone's in a win in a minute. He coming here. He definitely had a mechanical at the last race, and he wants to win it. But I know Jersey Jake wants to get a whole shot from the outside. This is kind of his deal. He's had the best chance to be able to start one of these things, being in the riding a twin, and we got Benny Carlson on the back there who definitely wants to come through.
So here's what we did with Benny. We said, hey, if you win this championship, wrap it up. You might as well just go out because you're moving up to that class next year. You said, I can? I'm like, yeah. He has not missed a race today yet. Now, he's won 3 belts already, and in the few races he's had, he's now up to 5 belts already in 2 races. I think it'd be a tall order to come from the back row against this lineup, but you just never know anymore with this kind of stuff what's going to happen.
Shane Narbone's going to take the cake.
You got Shane Narbone on it. RV, you got a pick?
I don't know. I'm going to
I know you're a Bostrom guy because, as soon as I seen him, is RV coming? Yeah. Okay, this is good then.
Well, I know he had some bike issues earlier today, which, like I said, this is all new racing for everybody, so they're all trying to get their ducks in a row, and I believe they got it sorted out after practice. And but yeah, Ben, he should be able to put some fast laps in, and hopefully we see him up front.
149 for Jake Johnson, a 147.8 and a 147.7. That's pretty close between the top 2 right now. Corey West is in it. Narbone had a tough race at Utah where he had a mechanical, so he's like 7th in points right now. He just wants the belt, I think.
Yeah, he's all in, man. He wants to take the cake and win the race, and he rode good in practice. He rode good in qualifying. He's got the turbo, so he's on his way.
The one thing I will say is that Benny Carlson has the most track time, and everybody else has been sitting on the sidelines just waiting all day.
Sure.
He could come out in the first lap and actually just have the pace. He's been riding all day. He knows the track conditions as it's been heating up. So he could just have a little bit of fire the first 2 laps, get in there, mix it up with the boys, and maybe cause some ruckus.
I'll tell you the thing, the Custom Dynamics guys and girls down there, Megan and Dave, they love this stuff right here. They're pushing super hard for you to get involved with it, and that's great when you have a sponsor that wants to be with you to move forward. They want to move forward with you, period.
100%. I'm super excited. I'm super amped just sitting here waiting for this last guy to roll up to get this race underway. I'm stoked with everything that Custom Dynamics has done for me since I came back from Europe and was able to do some flat tracking and stuff like that. So, they definitely love racing, and they've helped me since I've come back. And if we could do something, that would be huge. And the fact that they're supporting the Bagger League is super it's awesome. So hopefully we can have an awesome race. And, yeah, man, we're getting fired up. It's almost time.
Now, poor Patricia, she stands probably, about 5'3"? And these things are so now, Benny's flat-footed. She is completely hanging off the side. Now, the reason Benny is starting on the back was he was just in that end, and there we go. Green flag Benny, 1, 2, 3, 4 passes already. You mentioned he's up to speed. He's going to drag onto a toe here because I don't think he's been out on the track with anybody faster than him today. And there is insane Shane Narbone out front.
3rd, 4th coming around the outside. Here we go.
Arguably, Bostrom has the least amount of track time here. Narbone definitely wants to set and move forward and get to the front, and you got West right behind him.
Here comes Benny Carlson again up the inside, and there's a pass on Jake Johnson. If he slices through this pack, we just got to bow down right now.
Look at West looking for a little sniff going into the carousel. Can't make it happen.
It's going to be hard to out-motor one of the turbo bikes, but I'm going to see what it's like to get off and on the gas. There's a lot of back and forth on this track, right, Tyler?
Yeah, there's definitely. It's a busy track. It's one of the most busy tracks there on the circuit. There's no room for breathing. You got to be in shape. You got to be fit. Here we go.
Hawk Mazzata runs in the number 3 spot. We got 2 turbo bikes bookending Corey West right now in the number 2 spot. He's got a big bore. He doesn't even have a 131 in that bike. They built it at Saddleman. It's about 124 cubic inches, and you got 2 turbo bikes on both sides of them. They've got the mile per hour, but we're going to see how they work off and on the gas, especially through this section.
Yeah, you could just see him wiggling up over the top of the hill there going into the chicane. they stretch out a little bit here going into the bus stop for the first time. We'll see if Corey West brakes are really that good. We can catch up on Shane Narbonne, but Shane just getting a few bike lengths here and trying to stretch it out early on.
Benny's gathered up that front group. He sits in the number 5 spot. Started back in the number 10 position. So we'll keep
Carlson's looking good.
Who's that?
Carlson's looking good. He's got a rhythm. He's got tempo. He's got a flow. He's right there in the 5th spot. And he's working his way to the front.
It'll be a little bit longer race here. They add a couple laps for the class. Obviously, the ability of these riders are pretty close. And this is one of those races where the whole front pack's pretty close at this point still.
Yeah, and hopefully it stays like that. You can see Shane just building into a pace, trying to stretch him out. Corey, he doesn't have to beat Shane to win the championship, and you can see he's just kind of riding within himself. And then you've got, Ben Bostrom, Hawk Mazzata, and Benny Carlson just trying to get in there.
Harvey, you've been in this situation. You don't have to win the race to win the title, but it's a race.
Oh, everybody wants to win the race and the championship. But, obviously it comes down to it. It's being smart and if you don't want to push the limits and end up, putting yourself on the ground. But they're going to push it all the way to the ragged edge.
Let's rewind quick to Utah where Corey West in the last lap passed Bostrom for the podium spot. Do you think he's probably just waiting and just seeing where Narbonne, what he has, and then just kind of make a last lap deal? What do you think, Tyler?
I don't think so. He looks aggressive. He looks like he's going to the front. He wants to win this thing. We'll see.
I know they've made some changes to these bikes are constantly, they change every week how much, and they're getting better. No one's made the left turn and gone backwards. And here they come. They head down towards the bus stop here. And again, the whole front pack, anybody makes a little mistake, they could capitalize, and it looks like Benny Carlson is gathering up a little group. That little group is Ben Bostrom in that crew.
Definitely, yeah. Ben Bostrom, and you got Benny Carlson, Hawk Mazzata. Seem like that gaggle is coming together, and they're really going to create something. So hopefully it develops in a little bit closer. But it looks like Corey West just staying in touch with Narbonne. You can see through some of the more technical parts of the track where he's able to kind of just gather it back up.
Hawk's coming under attack right now from Double B.
Radius equals mile per hour. Ben Bostrom's got the line, so we'll see what happens going in turn 4 here.
So we got to learn some of these cool road race terms. Radius equals what?
Mile per hour.
Mile per hour. Okay, I'm gonna throw that one out at some conversation some night.
That's new to me.
Looks like we've got a little something shaping up. We got the draft working. We've got some inside outline. This is what the BRL is all about. Custom designed baggers that could be pushed to this limit by this ability of rider. This really brings a smile to people's face.
And you can see Corey just sniffing, he's just looking for, an opportunity, and he's getting closer and closer to Shane. You can see he's just getting more comfortable out there, and he's just really close to him. So I think he's kind of trying to line something up and try to, make an appearance and show Narbonne, hey, you don't got this thing today.
It's going to be tough to go. The Custom Dynamics Bagger GP, James Rispoli in the booth, Tyler O'Hara, Ryan Villapoto, myself, Rob Bitus, and we are watching this one unfold. The top 2 have put a little bit of a gap on them, and they are starting to really push. And you said Narbonne, he's going to bend it or win this thing?
Yeah, he's going to win it or bend it. You can tell he's just still pushing. But look, West looking for a sniff down. Couldn't quite do it. You can see Corey just riding a little bit tighter lines, not opening his entries up. Maybe just able to use the brakes a little bit more and not be on the side of the tire. But he definitely looks strong through the tighter sections where Shane definitely opens it up on the exits with that turbo.
In and out of La Pera turn 1, they go one more time. And you're right, Corey West just looking. I think patience right now is what he's trying to use. I think if he makes a move too early on Shane, Shane's going to retaliate quick.
Definitely, and real quick, 146.8 for Corey West that last lap, the fastest lap of the race. And, he definitely is putting one in. And Bostrom just moved into 3rd place.
You talk about race pace right now. He dropped a second off of his qualifying time. That's what happens when you got green flags mixed up. And here we go, side by side, shoulder to shoulder, fairing to fairing. And the pass is made to the front. Corey West goes, I want to win this championship, and I want to bring home the big red plate.
We'll see what that turbo's got. Here we go up at turn 7. Oh, he
That's
motors
what it
by
has,
him. Here
mile
we go.
per hour.
Look, it's a braking duel going into the right-hander here. West just outdoes him. And we'll see if now Narbonne can hold him through the S section and see if he can hold him through going into the chicane up here.
Having to finish behind your fiance in the FS Cup, if you are able to win the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP, you get to drive home again, right?
He's going for it.
Oh, this is good. This is good. Tyler O'Hara up here, James Rispoli, Ryan Villapoto. Hundreds of race wins in the booth at one time, and they're all watching this like 12-year-olds. This is as good as it gets, isn't it?
Well, with the two up front putting the battle in, it looks like Ben's closing in just slowly, but he's closing the gap.
He's right there.
Got to keep our eye on Benny Carlson, now up to the number 5 spot.
Bostrom just set his personal fastest lap. We'll see what happens coming over the stripe now. Look, another 46.4 for West. He, 47.3 for Narbonne. So he's stretching it out. He wants to show and push away from Narbonne here and see if he can put the pressure on from the front.
Man, these guys right now, and I know Nick Trask, the owner of that bike, he's telling them, run the thing. Did Bostrom just set the fastest lap or pretty close to it?
Yeah, he just dipped into the 46s. He is definitely closing in on Shane Narbonne, who did a 47.2. So Ben Bostrom, like I said, the wily old fox, just putting it together.
You can never count that guy out, ever.
He wanted to go run that hill behind us yesterday to the top. I told him, you go up there and put a BRL flag up there, it'll be worth it. He figured it out if he had his spikes on, it'd take him about over 40 minutes, but he was ready to go.
Now, I wonder if Narbonne has a little bit of an issue here because he's definitely lost a little bit from West, and Bostrom is definitely closing in on Narbonne here. So this will be interesting how it develops and if Bostrom can really close in that gap.
Now, the way the points work, you get 25 for first, 22 for second. If Ben Bostrom can find a way, he's 1 point behind Corey West right now, he'd pick up the title.
No way.
He's 1 point behind him. He has 18. Corey West has 19. I know somebody that has 22, but he's standing here by me. So
it's racing.
He's still, you're still second in points, though, right now.
Here
the
we go.
green flag hasn't come out
race.
yet.
Let's go. Narbonne's got his head down. He's riding hard through turn 10. Here we go.
Looked like Ben Bostrom just lost a little bit that last lap.
Benny Carlson's really dipped his lap times, too, from when he was in the he's in the 148s, and I know that bike is not going to have, he's going to have the big motor next time, the whole bit. So, again, top 5 starting on the back row, that's solid work.
Yeah, 5 laps into this, it's West, Narbonne, Bostrom, Carlson, Mazzata, Fernandez, and we've got Sonoma, Johnson, and Shields.
I'm surprised. They must be having some trouble because last time we raced, Jake Johnson was right on this little pack's heels, especially with the number 9 machine. But great work out there. The Saddleman crew's got to be ecstatic. I know David Eckert and the crew, they when they get involved with something, they do it right. They're fielding 4 bikes here this weekend. They went with an Indian Challenger. They have the Road Glide. Then they have 2 FTRs. So they've definitely stepped up. They wanted to be part of the action.
Yeah, and just to double in here, Corey West, 45.5. He just keeps pounding them. You know, Shane Narbonne, 46.2, 47.0 for Bostrom. The lap times just keep coming down. Every single lap, these guys are just getting more and more comfortable in the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP.
Benny Carlson made the move on Hawk Mazzata, so now Benny's up to 4th. He's going to have to do a little work because his 148 is a little off of Ben Bostrom's right now.
Yeah, I just got a text from Frankie Garcia saying he wishes he was out there, and he said he would, I don't know, he said he wouldn't be looping things out on the starting line this time.
How about Patricia Fernandez on the Saddleman Indian Challenger in 5th place, riding solid.
She's certainly, well, she's 6th, I believe, but she could be putting some moves on here. I don't know if they have the scoring set up for Benny's bike, or they must have it because they have her Bostrom. Somebody doesn't have their scoring and timing set up.
Looks like it's closing up at the front. Here we go.
There goes the number 155.
Yep, Narbonne just goes 45.6, closes into 0.6. It's getting close again. We're 6 laps into this. What are you thinking, Tyler?
Let's go. No, Narbonne, he's in it to win the cake. He wants to win this thing. He's got the Trash Performance Turbo on his bike, and he wants to win this thing.
Have you spent any time on a turbocharged bike, either of you? No. They've got to deliver power just a lot different, I think.
Turbo.
I mean, when it comes on, it has to whoosh. You hear the thing whistling when it comes by. It's awesome sounding when they come through the through the high-speed sections of the track, and we are really starting to lap down. We're on lap 6, just a couple more to go. So if anybody has something up their sleeve for Corey West, if not, he's going to go home with the coveted number 1 plate. Shane Narbone's like, look, they don't call me Insane Shane for nothing. I'm going to come back there. I'm going to bring some heat here in the final stages of this final Custom Dynamics Bagger GP race of the day at the BRL. This is the championship round. We'll be handing out some number 1 plates on the conclusion of this event.
Ryan, now, if you were in this situation like Insane Shane, what are you thinking? Are you putting it full down and trying to pass him as soon as possible, or what, are you going to wait till the end? What would you be doing in this situation?
Well, I think right now just trying to put in consistent laps, but we're looking like it seems like some of the guys, like Narbonne has a faster section, maybe this bike's a little quicker down the straightaway, but, so it just depends. I think, like for me, it's white flag, so he's got to make a move now. So it's go time if he's going to do it, and they're close.
Oh, it is super close. It looks like Narbonne wants this. Tyler, you think he's got it or what,
I think
man?
He's got it. Corey's riding a little defensive. Looks like he's got the weight of the title on his shoulders, and Narbonne's going for the win. So we'll see. He's going to send it. If I had to guess, it'd be in turn 7. Here we go.
Point 2. That's all it was across the stripe.
That's your
And
spot, turn 7.
And you have to figure that now we're very late in the race. The checker flag's coming out. Bikes are suspension, motors, brakes, stuff's got to be fading. There's going to be some issues. So who's going to push it the deepest.
This is the white flag lap that we're on, and next time they come across the stripes, it'll be checkers.
It looks like Narbonne is setting up wide. He wants to carry a lot of speed through the carousel. You think he's going to do it? You think he's got it, Tyler?
Here we go. He's got a run on him. Here we go. Coming out of the carousel. He's got the turbo. We're going up to turn 7. At the end of the drag strip, we'll see. Let's go.
He's got to get it close. If not here, he's got one more shot into the
He's
chicane.
making a run on him up on the outside. Here we go.
Corey had to move over on him, trying to take the line. Does that open the inside?
Oh, he does. He's ready to miss the neck. Here we go. Narbonne, take the cake. Let's go.
Insane Shane Narbonne moves back into the lead.
Okay, now we're going into the chicane coming up. Does West make a final pass like he did in Utah to take the full deal? And
you can just watch the turbo pull.
This is Heartbreak Ridge if he makes the pass on him, because Narbonne works so hard to come back.
Narbonne's got
All right, here we
2
go.
more
Turn
corners.
in turn 11. He's got to protect. Here we go. This is the shot. Corey's got to run on him.
Look,
Here
he's
we
gotta
go.
run. He's got to run.
He's going to send it. Oh, he sends
Oh,
it up
he's
the
going
inside.
in.
Here we go.
He did
Left
it.
the door
No.
open. Oh, he tucked back in.
It looks like Shane Narbonne might take it here. Can he get the run out? He does to the line.
Shane Narbonne takes the cake, ladies and gentlemen.
The first turbocharged road glide to ever win a bagger race is Insane Shane Narbonne on the Trask
buddy.
Turbo. The Custom Dynamics, but it's going to be the number 9 of Corey West, who picks up the number 1 plate. Folks, this has been truly a spectacular afternoon in the racing in this class. This is why it's the final race of the day. Guys, I can't thank you enough. It's been a spectacular afternoon of number 1 plates being handed out, but that one, that's the difference between the racecraft in this class and some of the amateur ones. Tyler, that was quite a race.
That was exceptional. These guys have so much experience. They got some great racers out there on good equipment, and hats off to Shane for taking the cake and winning the race. And also, Corey West put on a heck of a ride. He finished the race, and he did what he needed to do to win the championship.
And let's also shout out Ben Bostrom. Dude hasn't really turned a lap all day. Yesterday they're having troubles. The fueling guys got their bikes sorted, and, he puts in good lap times and comes home with a solid 3rd place.
Benny Carlson, 4th place. 3 belts, and then he comes from the back row as a fill-in. Hadn't been off the track. Hasn't missed a lap here. Every lap that's been run, he's been in the race, and he worked himself up to 4th. So great. But I know, if you know Nick Trask right now, he's just been inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's from New Zealand. He is going bananas right now. He's just proved to the world why you hook a turbo onto the side of the bike.
1,000%. And I just want to shout out Corey West. He could have made a super dicey move going into the last corner. And these guys are all friends, man. I'm down talking with them, just having a blast with these guys. And, you could tell that he didn't let off, but he almost like, hey, man, why am I going to risk it? We're having a good time, and he's got the championship. So let's just finish 2nd here.
What an afternoon. The Bagger Racing League comes to Sonoma Raceway in the final race of the day. The Custom Dynamics Bagger GP delivers some of the best race action, and I think he's just sinking in right now. He gets to drive home.
Definitely, and it's just great to see these baggers come alive, and it's still a process for me to watch and think that a bagger can do what it's doing around there. It's super cool, and it's awesome to have a sponsor like Custom Dynamics.
No, outstanding, and this is Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers presented by Custom Dynamics. David and Megan have embraced this so much, and what I'm excited about, so next time I get to deal with both of you guys, RV and I are announcing we got this. If you guys want to go down there and compete, we'll be happy to call your race.
I love to compete. That's why I do it, because I love to compete.
I think I've got some.
Let's go back and quickly look at it again. He had it. Did he go? And this is where things get interesting for Narbonne. He knew that if he could run it up, he had an opportunity at it, and he did it, and that turbo just really clicked in. The advantage of that extra horsepower came into play.
Well, you could actually see it. He got a run out of the carousel, and he opened up on the outside, and you could tell that he just pressured West a little bit deep into the corner there, and he just rolled around on the inside.
This is replay.
So, and you could just tell once he got in front of him, they just quite couldn't get past that turbo.
Here they come into that final corner, and then they're going to make their way back down towards the front straight. And this is where Narbonne really put the work in. But, so much great action out there. They had that chance. They're going to be down there handing out the hardware. I know Dave and Megan will be down there making sure everybody gets dialed in. And Corey's going to be stoked. I know that David Eckert from Saddlemen will be extremely excited. I know the folks that put Benny Carlson out there, the Sly Fox and the Suburban Harley, got to be ecstatic on. And that's not even their A package they're putting out next year, so he's going to be another factor. You're going to be in. You're going to be in.
Look out.
Are we going to have a 5-pack up front next year, maybe a 6-pack?
Let's hope so. I think I've got the least experience on one of these big dogs, but, hopefully I can tag in behind you, Tyler. You can show me the ropes. And
shake and bake.
There you go.
It's all fun, but we all respect each other, and we race hard and we race clean.
Definitely. That's number one.
So on a beautiful sunset afternoon here, the weather held off perfectly for us today. We know that tomorrow is not exactly going to be the same type of afternoon, and to be able to get this one in, to be able to have the crowd experience what bagger racing at a high level is all about, an opportunity to hand out a number one plate. It'll be interesting to see if Corey West rocks that number one next year. He's more entitled to run it.
He earned it. He deserves it. And
that's what I'm going to just make. You have to.
You mandatory. You got to. Yeah.
Yep.
Put a bullseye right on his back.
Big red plate on the front, the whole bit like that.
Yep. Congratulations to the whole Saddlemen team. That's well done.
Yeah, they put a lot of work in when we first got it. They were, they weren't sure how they were going to go, and they partnered up and they started building. They got the weight on. They got everything working,
and their bike looks really immaculate. I went down and had a quick, nice, peek on it, and it looks really good. The fueling bike, all the bikes look really good. You can see how much effort all the sponsors have put in, and it's really cool to see this thing grow. And even everybody tuning in, that's huge. Like the more people that tune in, the more that we can all do this, and the more that the whole thing can grow, and that's what we want.
We had an opportunity to see the count earlier. There were 68 countries that had bought the live cast. So they're watching it in Belgium, France, Germany, Australia, New Zealand. They're watching it all the way around. And
well, I think this is, America's, we're not the only people that have baggers, but, this is something that's pretty niche to America. So it's pretty cool to see all the countries tuning in and looking at something that's kind of different and wild, and, looking at something that should be just going down a Harley or down the highway, dragging knee at Sonoma, Utah,
We got some. We'll be in Daytona next year. We're going to be at in downtown Milwaukee at the Milwaukee Mile during Harley's big tradition, and then we got a special third one that we're going to be announcing hopefully before the first of the year. And I think everyone's going to be stoked about that if we get this one dialed in. So we're going to have a podium celebration, and we'll have an opportunity to do that. Let's take a commercial break. When we come back, we'll be heading down to the podium.
sexy touch is enough to make me and my Chevy flush so long. Take it on, but then highway, turn me on. Now let's drive, take it fast as you want. Girl, it looks damn good on. Start me up, stones on the radio. Girl, I love the way you let go. Long way, short way, long way. Get out those 4x4 play.
If you're injured in a motorcycle accident, call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS, America's motorcycle lawyers.
Performance is a leader in high-performance aftermarket parts for Harley-Davidson motorcycles. World-renowned for industry-first bolt-on turbo systems and cutting-edge motorcycle components, all made right here in the USA. Assault the street and the track with confidence. Performance-minded, performance-driven. Trask.
Well, we're back live here at Sonoma Raceway with the final podium of the day, the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP class. Let's go down to the podium and Kristen Banks.
I'm down here with Ben Bostrom, third place. Earlier today, you told me that you would be on this podium. You are on this podium. Now, Tyler O'Hara said up in the booth that radius equals miles per hour. You seem to have gotten it figured out, even though you didn't have much time on the track. How'd you feel out there?
Oh, I miss this place. Like I really miss this place. It's kind of weird. You know, it's a lot of green hills. It's strange, great fans. And I thought I saw the coolest photo earlier. We rode the bike up the hill out to number 7. And I looked back down, and it looked like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. There was Harleys everywhere and smoke shows coming out of there. And I thought, man, this is the time to have a camera. No one's shooting this. And then we went out and had I always say we're going to be on the podium, but you're not always on the podium, you know. And sometimes you'd rather be on the ground than not on the podium. But those boys rode really well, and I got the best seat in the house to watch them race. That was pretty cool. We had a good time on our Dunlop fueling Harley-Davidson. So, come on, what else are you going to do on your Saturday?
Do you want to thank some sponsors real quick?
Well, everybody on that bike, and mainly that team, because they worked their butts off the last 2 days. They put in, their fingers are probably raw to the bone. I always cause them a lot of trouble, and I don't know if it's me or what, but that bike just needs a lot of love, and she gives a lot of love back. She handles really well, so she's a good horse.
I think it might be you, but congratulations on that third place finish. Next up, second place in the Bagger GP, we have Corey West. Now, You got second place, but you're still taking home that #1 plate in the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP race. How do you feel about that?
Well, I'm a little disappointed in myself for not winning that race. I missed one little downshift there on the last lap and just basically handed it to Shane, but he rode his heart out, and that was super fun. We went way faster than we qualified, but big shout-out to Saddleman, Sly Fox guys for putting me on this rocket ship. Bridgestone Tires for supporting us all year. The tires were awesome. And all these fans, this is awesome. I'm so glad you guys came out to watch us rip these things.
Congratulations on that second place finish. And I heard him talking in the booth. You might be able to drive home now.
Thank you.
All right, the first place in the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP race is insane Shane Narbone. Now, I've got to ask. Look, the crowd, they love you. I've got to ask, did you get the Insane Shane name from that pass you pulled on Corey that last lap?
I might have. I got the name a long time ago. I've been racing for a while here, but Nick came up with it too, so it's on the bike. So I'm an Insane Shane, and I can't thank the crew enough for this whole day.
Are there some sponsors you want to shout out real quick that helped you with the win?
Yeah, of course. I got to thank the whole team, Moots, Jake, even my dad's here, helping out with the bike. Pirelli Tires, Scott Jensen, Oscar for giving me a hell of a set of tires for this race. Behringer Brakes for giving me the awesome stopping power. Just everyone else that's been here. It's been quite the trip. This is our second race doing this for me, third race for the team, and to be on top of the box with limited time and testing, we should have more for next year. So.
Well, we're excited and we can't wait. Megan with Custom Dynamics is going to present you with that Bagger Racing League belt. Congratulations.
Have the #1 plate presentation coming up shortly down there. But they got the champagne showers down there on the podium right away. Shane, Corey, Ben Boschum, I think he's cracked open a bottle or two of champagne. Now, if they were down there on this right now, if you were Jet Lawrence, you'd smash the bottle on the thing, it'd pop the top off by the – oh, there's Brian getting roosted, everybody from all the tire companies, the crew down there.
Going to get this win.
Yeah, he did pick it up. He got it down there. You can see everybody smile. Everybody smiles at the podium. It's hard to be sad down there, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, man. You could see they're all stoked, and the champagne. That's really cool. And now, Corey West is going to get the old #1, and he's going to have, like you said, he's going to have to run it next year.
Oh, we're making him run it for sure. There's no running that career number. You're rocking. If you're the champ, you're rocking #1, red plate and all. There's Shane Narbone down there. I know he was just mentioning his dad's here, so everybody there's got to be pretty stoked. I thought he'd have that thing on already. Thought he'd be wearing it.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to be wearing it tonight, celebrating.
Well, we've got some red plates to hand out to the 4 classes. Benny Carlson taking home 2 of them. We'll get the Big Twins one figured out, and then we know Corey West is taking home the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP one. What an afternoon. We got Christmas coming up. I feel like we had Christmas just right now, at least Christmas Eve.
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked, and it's really cool, everything and all the races that's happened today. And, what a great day when the sun came out, and, you can tell it's getting a little bit chilly out there, but, what a great day of racing.
Anytime you're at the racetrack, it's better than any day anywhere else you could be. I know that as we head into the holiday season, we hope everybody has a magnificent Christmas experience. We hope the New Year's to 22. We can put some of this craziness behind us and move into the goodness that this type of environment brings. Everybody having fun, everybody enjoying each other's race experience and company down there. It looks like we're going to have some growth in the Bagger GP class.
Oh, definitely. I think there's a lot of interest now. And, it just takes watching it and looking at it, to make it happen. So it's been really cool, and I'm really stoked that I was able to be a part of it.
We got one more commercial break, gang, and when we come back, we're handing out the year-end awards. We got 4 big #1 plates. Paul Langley from Drag Specialties will be handing out those awards. They'll be down there. Benny Carlson will be scooping them up. Corey West, we'll figure out who's taking home the coveted #1 plate in the NAMS Big Twin class. We'll be back in just a moment.
am down here with Paul Langley with Drag Specialties. He's here to present these guys with the #1 red plates. And tonight we're going to start with Benny Carlson with not only 1, but 2 red plates. First off, you have the Metzler Pro Stock red plate and also the Icon Lightweight Twin. Congratulations.
Thank you. And actually, he should get a 3rd plate for the mileage award for this event.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I was kind of debating on doing the thing, and then I just felt fresh enough. And I was like, Joe, just throw a tire on it. We can maybe try it out. Yeah, exactly.
I'm next. Oh, sweet. Yeah.
And then, now we have the NAMS Big Twins. Tony Salima with the #1 red plate.
Yeah, woo!
Tony, awesome.
Thank
well
you very
done, man.
much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we have the Custom Dynamics Bagger GP #1 red plate to Corey West.
And I just want to say at Drag Specialties, our motto is we support the sport. And I have to say a big hats off to everyone in Bagger Racing League for putting on an awesome event. And thanks to all the competitors and fans for coming out today. Thank you.
Awesome. Oh, is it my turn? You want to say something? Yeah. Special thanks to all the Saddlemen guys. They worked their ass off on these bikes, and the BRL for putting on this awesome race. This has been super fun, and I see the sport growing in the future.
It was a great day, and we hope to see everyone back next year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the live TV. But don't forget, we've got the Brad Boyle drag races coming up. We've got the Bassani Stunt Show. For all the fans, we're just getting started. We've crowned some champions, and we are so excited about 2022. I'm Rob Bitus for Tyler O'Hara, Amanda Sandoval, Ryan Villapoto. Who else was in here with us? James Rispoli, Jeff Zielinski, and the rest of the crew. This is the Drag Specialties Battle of the Baggers presented by Custom Dynamics. Thanks to all the race fans that have come out. Thanks to everybody on FITE TV. Folks, we couldn't have done it without some of the great work from people like Lauren Bauer and the rest of the crew that have really done great. Big tip of the cap to my friend Adam. This guy always steps up for me. Folks, have a safe trip home. Have a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We'll see you next year in 2022 on FITE TV with the Bagger Racing League.